Me.
Hi, hello. Did it work? Are we live?
Oh wow.
Did we do it?
Hi, hello.
You can hear us? You didn't hear us before the 5 minute break?
I hope not.
All right. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the 15th edition. Can't believe it's already 15 years old. Wait, no, that's not right. 15 months old. 15 months of Q&A. Answering all of your beautiful questions that you ask us over in our Discord. We do answer some of the questions asked live, but my name is Goknak. I'm the project lead and development lead of Momentum Mod, here to help answer some of these beautiful questions that you've asked us. I'm joined by some of my lovely teammates, and we'll go, I guess, down the Discord list. You guys can introduce yourself, say hi, and we'll get going.
Yeah, that's me. B. The word letter B.
Fair.
I do game programming, I guess, and UI program and just general programming.
Nerd stuff.
Yeah. Did I say my name? I'm Bray. It says right there.
Yeah, it says
you
right.
didn't put plus. This is my bear Ethan. Very. Yeah, he's got a little friend.
False can't be in two places at once.
I'm false. And I am the lead 3D artist for the game. So I make all the weapons and stuff. And I'm also campaign lead when we start working on that.
Oh yeah. Soon.
Hey, I'm Tom. I'm doing the web and UI work, and amongst other things. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Happy. I am one of the sound designer and I am localization lead for this game, and I do stuffs. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, since we're all here, let's, I guess, update everybody what we've been up to. I'll go first. So, for the past month, I've been basically doing a lot of soul searching when it comes to what I want to be as a programmer professionally. So this game has been great and is continuing to be great. I just, in terms of my professional life, I want to see if I can maybe move up to a Ving company or something like that. So I'm currently under the grind of interviewing or algorithms interviews and stuff, like mock interviews, grinding like leak code, a lot of really great practice for questions that are really great for testing coding skill like once and then never again because the job never uses it. But it is what it is, and it's been going all right. I got interviews scheduled basically all next week, so kind of at the culmination point of it right now. So haven't unfortunately been doing too much Momentum specific stuff, mainly code review as well as systems overview, system design, as well as code architecture with Tom, for example, on the website. So a lot more stepping back a bit during this process as I'm doing this, just to focus on preparation. But there's a lot of great stuff. So after next weekend, after the interviews, right? I don't have any others scheduled, so I'll be right back into it, working on Momentum in the free time. I've also been biking. I've been getting back into my cycling that I do. So it's warm out in Michigan, so yeah, that's been going well. But that's enough rambling from me. What have you guys been up to? I guess we'll go in Discord order again.
Yeah, I've been doing something similar, just working on my job, working on Nightingale and all that. But for things like, I guess I did do something recently. It was the markdown generator that takes our FGDs and generates markdown from them. We don't really have a plan for where we're going to put it, but at some point we'll have, some static site where you can just kind of view all the hammer entities, and yeah, that might be nice.
Or it could be integrated into our Qt hammer as part of like inline documentation. We'll see how best we want it to fit, but yeah, it's awesome.
I guess I'm next. I've been working on a rocket launcher Not sure if I think I on my Twitter I posted work in progress. But yeah, I'm actually currently working on it right now because I was like, spent some time doing that. And I also am employed as well as the 30 arts, so I've been working on that too. So yeah,
Everybody getting jobs. Let's go.
yeah.
Job gang.
I'm doing web design because we need web design or like API backend work. Because we need it finished, and
Canvas
it's really
everything.
boring, but it's getting there. I do a lot of stuff. I don't know. I've been doing some fun texture conversion stuff recently.
Oh
That
yes.
we're going to show off a little later.
Yep.
That's been fun because that's been programming, but not like so boring you want your head to explode. It's great. API architecture like work is great. It's really fun. You know, it's like you'd write a lot of like really, you know, thought-driven code and stuff, and it takes like a lot of
TDD.
brain power.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's the worst form of programming there is. It really is.
It's a lot of grunt work right now because it's just
Yeah.
re-implementing endpoints that already exist.
Yeah.
There's no like fun coding with that because it's just kind of the grunt work, the
Even then, I
transition
think
work.
API programming is just one of the most boring forms of programming, full stop.
True.
So,
yeah.
But we need it done, and when it is done, it's going to be great. I think we have some questions later actually about some of the future stuff after the rewrite's done, so we'll chat about it then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess it's my turn now. Whew. Currently, I'm trying. Well, I have a job, so I'm working. I have exams coming up, the last exam, and after that, I'll be done with my university. And since everybody looking for a job, I probably gonna look for the job too. And since I'm feeling to do localization stuff in the future, it's probably gonna be something like localization or translation related. And since we're talking about localization, I guess we can kind of see something real hot.
Perfect time for an
spicy.
ad break to run.
Thanks,
Twitch.
Thank you, Twitch.
Really good. There's extensions out there.
We are currently prepping up for future localization job stuff. Sorry. So everybody just wait. It's gonna be hot and spicy real soon.
Yes. So for those that haven't heard of the term localization, that just means translating the game into your like home language. So other languages, right? Other than English, which is what we default to, just because we're a international team and English we all speak. So yeah, that is keep an eye out for a future announcement relating to localization specifically. So if you want to see momentum in your language, you'll be able to help. And if you don't have a key or access to the playtest, this is a great way to get access. So join our Discord, please. ! Discord, I think works. I think I added it. Did I not add it? I might not have. Oh no, I did. Oh, that's the wrong link. Fuck. Okay, I need to update that. But anyway, yeah, please join our Discord. Hang out with us there. You can ask us questions to be answered in this this stream. But also, that's where we're going to be kind of our base of operations around localization. So,
opportunity to get involved.
Yes. Yes. Cool. Okay. That is everybody. So we'll go ahead and move on to the first asked question of the stream.
All right. Murgle asks, how does the size of 091 compare to the sizes of the other remaining milestones? Good question.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
like 087 was huge.
yeah.
090 was huge. 091 was unbelievably massive.
It's bigger than that, Bray. It's large.
It's bigger. That's a great reference.
Sorry.
Yeah, so but
091
092 should be a lot less.
Yeah.
I would think. Yeah.
I think we've got a lot of stuff coming in this last update, and then in review at the moment, there's closing quite a few small little things. Loads of small little issues that are close to closing up. So,
yeah. I mean, from a project like a project like management standpoint, 091 was just kind of a culmination of a complete library jump from the old UI to re-implementing UI. This was talked about quite a bit actually in the last Q&A stream too. So just kind of rehashing it for those that were unaware, we remade basically all of our UI in a new UI framework that we get from the source engine license that we have with Valve called Panorama. So we rewrote all of our panels in Panorama. They're beautiful, right? We still have a lot of work to do. 092 is going to be kind of tweaking, and for example, the map selector doesn't automatically search. You have to hit a button in order to search. So stuff like that is just going to be worked on. Just a little bit of missing features, functionality there. And honestly, 092 is just kind of like more of a general like wrap up, kind of like wrapping up Panorama to get to the point where the only thing now for Panorama work is like slight bug fixes if more stuff pops up, but also just newer features, things like beta map lists, or like what was it, the new zone tools, which is coming 0.10. You know, the task tools, if we're going to try to get those in before 1.0 or start them before 1.0, things like that are the new panels that would be with new functionality that we also need to put into the engine.
TrickSurf as well. Yeah.
TrickSurf as well, yes. So the TrickSurf UI and UX for that, yeah.
The way I ended up thinking about 091 is it's essentially like we don't milestone super accurately. Like it's not really representative of like if it's like a X.00 milestone, doesn't necessarily mean it's like bigger than 091 was bigger than 090 by a pretty significant amount. And 091 could have easily been like a full milestone, and then 2 and 3 are kind of the the smaller sort of things after that. So
yeah. And the way that the semantic versioning, the 3 numbers, right, works is the first one is kind of just overall project milestone. We're still in kind of an alpha, not really publicly released state, so that's the 0, the first 0. The second number is typically breaking changes. So things like if we were to completely refactor replays, which is coming, 011, right? That's hence, why we bump it to that. And then that's why 091, it was 0.1 is kind of just a patch version. It's described to be kind of smaller fixes, but like because we just migrated all of the like UI over to a new framework and it like otherwise functions the same, it wasn't really breaking. So that's why it was under that. I mean, this is, I'll be honest, like there are probably some versions that in hindsight could have been better advertised as like, oh, this is technically 010 or whatever, because it was such a huge amount of work. So whatever. Project management is a little difficult, at least, from my standpoint of like having never done it before. So apologies if you're expecting the versions to be like making sense, or if you're a professional project manager and you're like scoffing at me or something. But yeah, I think the next big like 091 comparable updates are going to be 011 is the replay refactor, and that's just big because we need to figure out other systems that rely on it, including anti-cheat. So getting the anti-cheat layer figured out as well alongside it. And the I would say the 1.0 like push to like actually get it out are going to be the comparable sized updates that are remaining. Now, obviously, it also depends on how many people can help. So, right, if we have the full engineering team, right, all 12 plus coders, right, working on tools, working on the various things that we need for 1.0, some updates will come much sooner than 091 did. But 091 was just so tedious because it was like, all right, everybody pick these giant panels to rewrite and retool and like we had to get a mock-up from Trazox, our graphics designer, and then re-implement that, and then like actually hook it up to the data and then rigorously test it, which I hope 091's release is also helping with. So yeah, hopefully this kind of helps put it into perspective. But yeah, it was huge, and it probably shouldn't have been a sub number update, but it didn't really break anything. So yeah, hence 091. But yeah, cool. Was there any other input for this? All right, thank you, Murgle, for this question. We'll move on to the next one.
All right, CaWU asks, why can you open source panorama files but not other stuff?
We wrote them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's I mean, there's maybe like the tiniest like hints of some CS:GO panorama stuff, like XML in there, but I mean, it's like
Mhm.
that's
And I mean,
it's
even then, like you'll be able to, you can like,
that stuff.
what is it? It's just in like a zip, I guess.
File in
Yes.
there. It's just,
Yeah, for CS:GO. So you can just go see the CS:GO panorama files like right now. But yeah.
But I mean, especially like if we had a lot of dependency on CS:GO, we probably would have been more sort of wary
Yeah.
of releasing it because it would have just felt less like we were just showing our own work. But I mean, at this point, like there's so little of CS:GO in there that it's just completely like it's completely our own. Like there's so many systems that we change it up. Like so many like you couldn't like move loads of momentums UI back to CS:GO, for instance, if you could make like custom CS:GO UI. Because like we use like a completely different styling system, and we've got all these little rendering changes, and yeah, like loads of things. But those panorama files themselves, there's there's absolutely no C++. Like everything is like just read at runtime, right? It's JavaScript, it's XML, and SAS, which I guess kind of is compiled, but and yeah, I mean it's just there's nothing in panorama that in our panorama stuff that can't be open source really.
Yeah, and so
Much more to it than that.
yeah, there isn't. I was just gonna say in the sense of like wanting to open source more, we do, and we have rough roadmap plans in place for some potentially really exciting things if Valve are on board with it. We just have to make sure that we're in constant communication with Valve. We're never going to open source something and be like, oh well, oops, we didn't, we can't do that. We don't. They're gonna just revoke the license and then our project gets canceled basically. So definitely communicating directly with Valve, seeing exactly maybe like what we'll be able to open source, specifically if we're able to do an SDK style setup to where we provide a lot of pre-compiled release binaries for things, and then maybe open source a couple of things. So yeah, not to get people too pumped up yet, but it's pretty exciting because I think if we can go this route, the modding scene for Source 1 could potentially become much better than it currently is with all of the doubt surrounding it. Now, I'm not going to speak to like the TF2 Classic or whatever situation. I'm talking more explicitly about just having a platform that's a little more modern than the SDK 2013 repo. I know there's other projects that can like map base and stuff that kind of help with that too. But ideally, it would be you basically are working on a source flavor that has active developers that would be adding engine features that are requested. But anyway, yeah, again, not to prematurely announce anything. This is just ideas that we have that we would like to present to Valve down the line. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, for right now, opening Pano, because again, you get these files when you download the game. Like they're they're not encrypted. It's not compiled into machine code or anything like that. They are actively given, and we wrote like I want to say 98 to 99% of like all of the content that's in the Pano repo. So it's our own work that we're releasing under our own MIT license. The Valve provided files we actually moved back to a kind of closed source, just like shipped still with the game, but like we don't have the rights to relicense that code technically. So we're being careful. We pulled it back out, and we're still distributing it because we're allowed to, but it's we're not allowed to relicense it because we didn't write it. And then there's not really a level of like we can't like rewrite it unless we were to like completely transform it. So and we don't want to rewrite the debugger, for example, the panorama debugger. Right. So stuff like that's just going to be just going to be auxiliary and not tracked in Git, which is okay. Or sorry, not tracked in GitHub. It's tracked in a private Git repo that we have.
I just want to say one other way of looking at the question is we open source everything we can, right? Like
yes,
the reason we open source Pano is because we can. The reason that the game code isn't open source is that it can't be because it's Valve's legally protected IP and but everything on this project that we can, I mean, our front end, back end. I mean, okay, anti-cheat, stuff like that. Some stuff there might be like completely separate from engine related stuff, but we're not going to open source that because we don't want everyone seeing like the internals of anti-cheat. But anything that we can within reason open source, we do. Typically under MIT because GNU is stupid or GPL is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think the next step would be to open source all of our assets under, I believe we were going to go CC0, which is
really good. Yeah.
Which is you can't use it for any commercial purposes, and you have to credit us.
CC0 you can.
Oh wait, maybe
we're talking about this later, right?
Because anyway,
the assets we're including those stuff you can use completely.
There's a license that's like non-monetized and like requires attribution, and that would be what we open source, like all of our game assets and VMFs and stuff under. So we'll see how to do that further down the line when we actually have an asset pool that we want to open. Yep. When we get like all of our weapons in and stuff. But any other input for CaWU's question here? All right, thank you, CaWU. We'll move on to the next.
Yeah, Miswift asks.
Miswift.
Will there be Miswift? I don't know. Cool name though. Will there be an easy zone setting up for new people like zones command?
So an exclamation mark zones could correlate to opening the zoning menu. But other than that, we will have dedicated UX. The advantage of having full engine access, full like the full coding stack, right, of the game is that we can provide basically unique experiences that are integral to like the game's user interface. We don't have to use existing, we're not server plugins where we can only deal with chat commands or like we can do like full on UX. So having exclamation mark zones pop open our UX, definitely doable. And then I guess to kind of answer easy zone setting up, an easy zone like setup, I guess that was a typo or something. The zoning tools that are being rewritten for 0.10.0 will be much easier to use and like properly like fill like platforms and stuff, so you don't have to do any tedious like measuring or adjusting as much as possible. And then ideally keep in mind, ideally people don't have to zone maps by the time that we're kind of past 1.0, because we're going to be releasing pre-zoned maps in the selector. So that's all you need. So you would only need the zone tools for newer maps or old maps that we didn't consider or just were buried somewhere, dug up. So that's hopefully how it's viewed, is like, you won't have to zone every map that's not on the selector, because eventually we're going to be trying to add as many maps as we can to our selector.
Yeah, and you can also make them in Hammer, which
yes.
Yes. Yeah, you're able to like make them in Hammer, and then that'll spit out like a file for you, and then you could edit them in game.
It's funny that Hammer turns out to be a really good program for making like large cuboids.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're making a map, you could just use Hammer directly, putting the zones in it. It'll spit it out and split them from the BSP, so that way you have your .zone and then the proper BSP without them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And will the zones? I actually have a question. Well, what about TrickSurf? Do we still use like the zoning stuff for TrickSurf?
So that is going to that's going to also be Zone Maker, and that is ideally going to be through Hammer, mainly because the zone geometry needs to be pretty precise. There's going to be some that are going to be on ramps and stuff, and so we could try
like people making their own zones and setting them,
or like submission of zones.
So the idea is that when a TrickSurf map is created, it is zoned, and like with enough zones. Like the map review community will see how many zones there are, and if it's adequate enough for like the amount of like that's why, and this is also why we're separating the zone file out, is because if there are missing zones that we could add, we could always do that. We could always add more zones, but it's not per user. The users submit they're tricks. So the paths through
Yeah.
the existing zones that's shipped with the game, or sorry, with the map when you download it.
Yeah,
So
I forgot that at first when we started talking about that.
yeah, the distinction there is when the map is submitted, it will have ideally finalized-ish zones as much as possible, but I know that there's going to be some tricks that might require some just floating in the air or something that wasn't considered before. But ideally, it's like every surface, every teleport, everything just gets its own kind of zone, and then that should cover 99%
Right. So just to
of all the
clarify for
tricks.
those who don't know, because honestly, this was what was confusing me when we started talking about this. For a trick, right, that's just going between a bunch of existing zones in a sequence. Right?
Yeah, through.
There's not saying that like when a map gets added, we have all the tricks then. Like
Exactly.
we have all the zones themselves added.
Exactly.
So, all that you need to then make a trick is to just go between like zones, a specific sequence of zones. That's all a trick is, right? That's kind of the elegance of trick stuff. Is once you've got, zones all over Skyworld or whatever, you then have, a ridiculously large number of combinations of possible tricks because you're just going between them.
Exactly.
So
and this,
really, people won't really need to be messing with zones then.
Precisely. It is very specifically towards mapping or porting efforts. Other than that, the average user, it's not going to be like a server where it's like, you gotta fix the zone yourself or whatever. I don't know. But ideally, the zone tooling will be easy to use for those that need to do it. Is kind of how we're going to set them up. So, and ideally, you don't need to use them if you don't have to. So, cool. Any other input for Miswift's question?
I kind of have a question.
Sure.
Like back to the zones and trick serves, because I really don't know. Are zones and tricks are kind of different or?
Yes. Yeah. So zones are going to be areas of the map that you can hit or like go through, right? Be in or so like for example, if you have a starting platform that you spawn on, that's typically the spawn, right, zone. And then tricks are like at any point of the map being released, let's say I want to go from the spawn down a ramp, loop back, and go back up to that spawn platform. That would be a trick, right? So you would record going from that start zone onto the ramp, turning around, which probably hits another zone, getting back on the ramp again, so probably hitting that ramp zone again, and then hitting the start platform zone again. So it would like start, ramp, midair, ramp, start zone. That's a trick. And it's just a list of pre-existing zones that are in the map that you would submit, and we'll have like a community tricks tab that could like trick editors for maps could then go through and see like how many people have completed it, like if people are favoriting them or upvoting them or something, whatever system we have in place there, and then incorporate it to have official leaderboards that could give cosmetic XP and have like the official boards for that trick. So it's going to be way more documented down the line when we actually implement the systems. But right now, the zoning tools and then the replay refactor incorporating all of these different modes is our priority right now. And then Trick Surf will be picked up. So it's going to be down the line.
Trick Surf will be so much fun to work.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do more of that.
It's more arcade-ish because you're just kind of going crazy through different routes. You don't really have like a predetermined, this map has like this map track has one way to do it and you optimize that. It's like there's really short nuggets of gameplay that you optimize, and it's fun. I mean, it is a more casual mode. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how competitive it gets, but it's typically for like I think on Z's Skyworld it was like for points, and the points didn't really make sense or matter. People just like doing the tricks, so we're going to focus more on completion for people doing Trick Surf or trick, any trick mode. And that should ideally still provide enough satisfaction for those that are grinding out tricks, but also people that are just wanting to play and don't really care about the leaderboards. Cool. Okay. We'll move on. Thank you, Miswift, for this question.
Yeah, we got a really good question in chat. I don't know if you want to hop to that real quick.
What? Which one? Sorry.
Besides the mapping
Snowyquill.
channels in the Discord server, what tools and resources will be provided for new mappers to start making maps for Momentum?
There you go.
Or will be provided?
Okay.
So we do have like our docs here. I want to see. We'll put up guides of how to use like our entities, but in general, a lot of it is. I mean, it's hammer as source. You can look at Top Hat Waffle for like if you're just beginning and things like that. But yeah, we'll have guides here, and then there's also some documentation on specific entities that are momentum only. And yeah, I guess the thing I spoke to kind of earlier, we plan to make that a lot better with like the auto generated like markdown docs from our FGD. So yeah.
And then from the
Lots of resources.
And then from the asset side, it'd be great to have just a lot of the, as we develop, which ties into this next question that we're going to answer from Toss, the campaign, we're going to have a lot of just straight up generated content, or not generated, created content for our campaign that we're shipping with the game. So you could use the ramps, you could use, like we'll have bits and pieces that we're going to be making use of in the campaign that you can use for your maps, and it's coming with the game, so you don't have to worry about mounting or anything like that.
Yeah.
And PBR.
Yes, and it'll look great. It'll look great. That's for sure. An in-game level editor. So this is a fantastic question. We need to see how realistic the in-game editing tools as they get developed turn out to be. Like, for example, Hammer is kind of just the bread and butter because it's just there's so much existing resource around Hammer that we would want to make Hammer as good as it can be before looking at what could an in-game level editor do. Could we optimize how the Hammer map editing process works to where it's pseudo in-game, to where it's like you basically make an edit and you don't even have to recompile, right? Because as you're like just testing in Matt Fullbright, you don't need lighting, you don't need viz really. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we could get something like, was it Forge or just where it's you make edits to your VMF and it immediately applies in game, so you can do very quick iteration just using save locks. And so that's kind of the approach we want to get to. A full-blown level editor to where Hammer is in-game might be a little crowded. The in-engine tools are a little like you can't really use multiple screens for stuff, right? So it's like it's probably just easier to have Hammer be a separate and then like have your game be a separate window and just have multi-monitor. But I know, there's not everybody has multi-monitor, so we'll see. But yeah.
I mean, it's 2022, I think. I think people have multiple monitors. If
Yeah.
they're making maps. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm more excited for Hammer-related features like full Qt support going on Linux and things like multiplayer map editing, like synchronizing VMF edits across the internet to other, so you get like a Google Docs editing experience for a map. So collab maps are literally collaborating on the same map.
Into a Google Doc.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Edit it as plain text.
Yeah. Google Docs
plain
plugin. No, just kidding. It would be in our Hammer.
And yeah, Snowyquill also had love to hear insights on experience source movement mappers on what makes map good for each game mode. I don't know if we like plan on this specifically, but I know Ethan have some write-ups on like maps that he's made, and maybe we'll have like a blog maybe post on how a certain map was made, and I think that would be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a cool.
Or
thing
if
to do.
just like the rest of our
Closer to
team
this.
would use this channel for streaming, they could just stream some mapping stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It would be great because that expertise just being shared, like what we're, because the thing is, like, we don't want our like map approval or map quality standards to be secret. I don't think that's helpful. Like, I think that if a mapper knows exactly why we reject or why it wasn't, ranked or whatever, making that public and then being able to even rectify it, right? Like, fix it and have a better map in the end for everyone to enjoy. Like, that's really important. So with that, like, the auxiliary, like, information around making the best kind of map for that mode, centralizing all of that advice kind of in documentation on the doc site or just in YouTube videos, but also hosted on the doc site or something in a nice like playlist or like for each page or something like that. Absolutely, it's extremely important. And so let's definitely.
Good time to plug your thing, Ethan. Anyways,
yeah.
You wanted to move on?
Oh no, I was just saying that these questions are really great, but let's try to save them for the end so it's easier to time stamp it.
I just felt like
it's all good though. No, yeah, these are great questions. So thank you for asking them. And thank you for bringing it up too, because these are great. It's just timing wise, it's better at the end. Okay, cool. All right, so moving on to the next question. Thank you, Snowyquill, as well as others in chat. Also, very pog for ILD map editing tooling. That would be
that'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. So you should absolutely continue at some point. I'm fully in support of that.
Yeah, everybody will love you. Anyways, next question from Toss _ There's an underscore now. How long will the campaign / tutorial be?
About 8 to 10 minutes.
Yes. Depends how fast you go. It might be 4 minutes. No.
Any percent or like...
So that's the question, right? So the question that I have in response is, what do you mean by like, in terms of like, how long is it to complete? An average playthrough, average skill, any percent / 100%? Because
how much complete?
Yes, how many complete? And so what we're aiming for. So I guess a little bit of details about the campaign, just to trickle out for right now to get people a little bit hyped, is we plan to have an initial tutorial section. So ideally, right, if you've never played any of the modes, you start with just playing the campaign for that mode to learn about it. So the tutorial that will bring you from zero experience about the game mode or even a 3D platformer to being able to execute the game mode's basic like function. And we're a very big fan of teaching through gameplay and not sitting watching something, right? A video, tutorial, cutscene, whatever. We'd rather have it be through the game itself, teaching you as you play. So mechanics will be introduced over time, but the idea is that the tutorial leads to a hub world, and the hub world has 5 worlds in it, and each of those hub worlds, like sub hub worlds, has up to around like 10 stages, and a stage is a BSP. And we're also trying to increase the grid size. So, when it comes to like how long it'll take you, ideally the game does not prevent you from going as fast as you want. So if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to just breeze through the tutorials and probably the first couple worlds. The maximum tier that we're probably going to aim for is around 3 on the current tier system. So that's going to be around 5 to 6 on the 10 tier scale. So that's going to be, it'll get pretty difficult near the end. And yeah, whether or not we'll have extra content or something. An idea that's floating around is a hard mode DLC that maybe does something with the story. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but so ideally you have 5 times 10, so 50 full-on BSPs. That's 100%, by the way. So I guess a little bit more spoilers about how the campaign will work is each of the hub worlds, obviously you go in order. You can't go to like the 5th hub world and just beat the game in 5 seconds or whatever, right? You got to go through each world, and each world has those 10 stages, but there's also one like kind of final stage of that like hub world. And you like the idea that we have is that platforms and elements in that final stage, or it's almost like kind of like POW blocks or something, where they'll be like translucent and not have collision until you actually beat the stages like in that world that unlock those specific paths. And what we're going to try to do is balance it to where you could actually do 5 or 4, if you're feeling ballsy, like 4 to 5 of like half-ish of the stages in the hub world and beat that final stage to go on to the next world. So speedrun, any percent mode, you don't have to do all 10 of the stages. You just have to do 4 or 5 and then that final stage. And you'll be able to speedrun through that final stage. You would have to do probably a really hard skip or something, you know, really hard maneuverability, because the more that you do in that hub world, the easier that final stage will be. And so it'll be a fun balance, because who knows, right? You could do risk versus reward. Do you do a couple stages to get more platforms for safety? Or do you do less but have a faster time into that final stage but have potential for fuck ups? So I'm really excited to see like how that'll turn, because when you go through all 5 of the worlds, you'll beat the game and you'll unlock speedrun mode. And speedrun mode will be from the start, from that tutorial, right, all the way to that 5th world end. But we will also have 100%, and that's where I can't spoil anymore. The 100% ending will be different. And honestly, probably not very speedrunnable. if I'm honest, like you actually might have to do a speedrun.com category for it.
Yeah.
So I'll say that much. We do want to reach out to the speedrunning. I mean, our game is speedrunning, so we are part of the speedrunning community. But like the speedrun.com crowd of kind of like this overarching community that could like, you know, run that 100% category, because we'll have in-game leaderboards for the speedrun mode for the any percent. But that 100% category ideally could just live on speedrun.com.
Yeah. I've always thought of it that way. I think that's the healthiest.
So yeah.
Keep in mind, there'll be the extra half hour at the end for the Minecraft style text story ending.
Yes.
That will be unskippable, including in speedruns.
And at the beginning.
And not just going to write it as well. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually... I mean, you say that, but I could probably ask him. Like, he used to watch my Half-Life 2 speedruns, so maybe, I don't know.
Anything else going on in his life.
Maybe. So anyway, yeah, we're kidding. There's not going to be text scrolling.
Yeah, also
if we do have any cutscenes or anything like that, they will be at the beginning and skippable, you know, or at the end after you've done the thing. So, yeah. Hopefully that's a good overview and also an answer to that question of 5 times. Okay, sorry. To answer the question in, I guess, terms of like our goals for level design, each of the stages is aiming to be around 30 seconds speedrun no fail. So assuming you're a god tier gamer and you can do 50 levels in a row without failing, it'll take you around 30 times 50, and then the traversal time, and then the final stage time, which is probably going to be around 30 to a minute, times 5, so that's already like 5 minutes. So we're aiming around 30 minutes. Around there, I mean, it'll be optimized, obviously, and like people will find nutty shortcuts and stuff, but around 20 to 30 minutes for the speed run route. We're hoping that it takes people a bit longer to 100%, because there's a lot more involved with doing that. So yeah, I hate being cryptic about it, because I'm actually really excited to like work on and get the campaign in. I think it's going to be something fresh for this for these communities, and it's something that I want to really play. We just have to write the story, which I'm not really a story writer, so we might have to find somebody else. Yeah, there's a lot actually, and not just story.
It's pretty far out.
Yeah, so this is planned for the 2.0 release, by the way. For those unfamiliar, 2.0 is going to be the campaign. So that's when we're scheduling that. But so that's why we're not even working on it right now. We're getting to 1.0. We want to get the game out and then generate hype around it. So yeah. Hopefully that answers that. Was there any other inputs for Toss's question?
Kinda. You said 10 stage per 5 worlds. It's like 50 tracks we have to make plus the hub. Oh my god, that's so much job for the music department.
I mean, I would say probably towards 20. We would have to see the average length of an OST and then probably just make around, like I'm figuring around 20 to 25, because that's at least we could reuse tracks throughout the world. So world themed tracks, and then just kind of shuffling which one gets played in the level that you're on. We can make them per level too. It just depends. Yeah, I didn't really think too much about music quite yet. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, because we don't want music to be so repetitive unless it's a banger. I don't know. People like bangers, like Risk of Rain and stuff. The soundtrack's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's the same song for each of the levels you get to, is, you know. So if you make them,
Like a campaign meeting now.
yeah. So we'll see. How many tracks we'll actually need. But each world ideally is going to have its own kind of ideally theme in each of the tracks. So could be different genres too. We'll see. But yeah. And it would be shared across the different campaigns. So we're not just making one mode campaign. It's going to be as many modes as we see fit and have the mapping capacity to do, because the story is being written in a way that accounts for it. So we'll be able to do, if we only have 4 main modes, and so be it. We can make future campaigns down the line that plug and play. We'll see. All right. If there's no other input for Toss's question, we'll go ahead and go on to the next one. Thank you, Toss.
I'm sorry, Tom. What happened? Why was there no
And popped in
recording?
and out of existence.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Good. All right. Next question from Big Toss again. How big will the cosmetic shop be? Will there be cosmetics for each game mode? I hope.
So answering that second part, yes. We want cosmetics representing each of the game modes. Absolutely. We want users to be able to fully support and express themselves in terms of their favorite game modes that they play. But in terms of cosmetic shop, I think, False, you were trying to say something. Sorry for cutting you off there.
Yeah, we were just thinking of having, this is mostly after release, right? A lot of community focus, like assets, sort of like how Team Fortress 2 does it with their workshop, right?
Yep.
So people can create things they want to see in game, and if it's pretty good quality, we can pull it in and have that be featured, and then you can just unlock it officially, and then other people can see that you've unlocked it and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big motivator, I think, for a lot of people, just to be able to show off and like unlock things and progress in some type of way. So we would like to have a pretty expansive cosmetic shop, but things that we're making in-house, we don't have that many people. So on release or something like that, it won't be like very expansive. Just expect space.
Realistically, yeah, the only way cosmetic we get a significant number of cosmetics is with like
we'd want to add as much as
and
we
that's just
could.
fun.
Yes.
Right. But that is dependent on community and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the catch, like 22 of like, do we add people on the team to make cosmetics, or do we add people on the team to like help with like the actual like game assets that are needed, right? Like the weapons and like, you know, the base things that we need. But once those are in place, these artists can start to branch out and create mode specific cosmetics and things like that. So, I mean, ideally, right, if you have 3D modeling and specifically animation, Springscale, our current animator, has a full-time job now and can't help out. So we are looking for help in that regard, creating cosmetics, animating our current assets that we have by default, the base cosmetic the base cosmetics that you get just with the game. So yeah, if you have any talents there or want to try to apply yourself there, I believe our team application form does have that still on it for artists, 3D modeling and in animation. Yeah. So
or just DM Gog or False.
Yeah, or DM. Yep. Yeah. DM me, False. Yeah. Technically anyone on the team, they can forward it to me. But yeah, if I'm online, feel free. Cool. But yeah, so I'm anticipating the cosmetic shop to grow over time. Not exponentially. Obviously, we want quality things in the shop, and we want enough of an initial offering to make it worthwhile to launch. But it'll be interesting. I'm excited for implementing the system and seeing how users like it, because there's actually a couple other questions that are going to tie in with like what exactly is going to be on it. Was there any other? Oh yeah.
One thing I was just going to add, one of the ways we often talk about the cosmetic stuff is we don't want like a gibbous. And if we have very few cosmetics at the start, we'll end up with like a gibbous, right? That everyone that's played a little bit has. Where like if we have like the cheapest cosmetics that's in the game at the very start, like everyone's gonna have, and then a year later when there's like 100 cosmetics, like a lot of new people don't have it, but it's still like, you know, it's this kind of we have a load of just really just low value cosmetics because they were just, not that we will have trading so they have like value quite in that sense, but you know.
I like the idea of having a noob hat though.
Yeah.
No.
I do have one made.
It's a little dunce cap that's like says noob on it or something.
No hate on my gibbous, please.
But yeah,
Also-
yep.
Also, I'm gonna say sausage knife. Let's go.
Yeah, we need a sausage knife.
Yeah, keep in mind the sausage knife is very much possible. So, again, that kind of like silliness, that kind of goofiness, because it's where we as a brand like Momentum Mod, like we have our base layer weapons and stuff, and that'll represent our style, our thing. But we can go crazy with the cosmetics on like how detailed, how like or low poly, you know, vice versa. Like the animations that are used for it. I mean, obviously we don't want really obnoxious stuff because the main draw of cosmetics are being able to be shown in a lobby in your replays, right? So when you're surfing, you're just twirling a knife or your sausage knife between your fingers. So yeah, like there's there's a level of obnoxious like cosmetics that we won't add, but we will like try to balance it with like goofiness, seriousness, like cute ones as well, like the hedgehog stickies, stuff like that, where there's a layer of customization that I'm going to be really proud of once we get the system in place and some initial cosmetics going. I think people will be really inspired for it. And yeah, I mean, it'll be in game. We'll do everything we can to credit. I mean, we're not making money off of cosmetics, so it's just you're spending your in-game currency on like the model or skin or no, maybe not skin, but like the pack or something. So you'll be able to see who created it there, and like we'll have like all the attributes around that, and like we can let people like write their own descriptions for it too and stuff. Did you drop a key and then people just spam the shit up, please?
No. I was looking through this notepad. I've not really like.
Oh, okay.
Gone for in a really long time, and I've just got "Please play Concrete" on one page.
Classic.
Some like previous live stream.
I think it was the first one actually. You held it up.
I think it might well have been.
Yeah.
So that's like.
It was a meme back then, but then it became an actual meme. Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. Was there any other input for Toss's question? All right. Thank you, Toss, for the 2. This one's kind of related, so.
Yeah. KJR asks, will there be taunts? Well, for taunts, we need an animator.
Yeah, we need animations. But yes, it would be cool. It'd be cool to have taunts. It'd be cool to have player animations, like, so imagine like surfing or rocket jumping through the air and being able to do like a flip or something, right? Like having stuff like that, just like auxiliary like animations that don't affect your game or like gameplay at all. It's just like things that can happen. Or if you're on the final platform awaiting your friend, you can just keep like taunting them literally on the edge.
SSX, like tricks.
Yeah, or SSX. Yeah, when you're doing trick surf, like actually do tricks. No, we'll see. But like it's we do have Portal 2's code, so we can look at how their taunt system works. We can do things like high-fiving and stuff like that. So it's very, very possible. but yeah, just a matter of animation and getting the player model in place, and then seeing how taunts work across the different player models that'll be in the cosmetic store as well. Just ensuring that, I mean, even if it looks pretty goofy, that we can still, animate a high five to like different height player models and stuff like that. So yeah. Is there any other input for KJR's question? Cool.
I'm good.
Okay. Moving on to the next. Thank you, KJR, for that question.
Yeah. Linguiste asks, will reset to stage be blocked when you are inside of the current stage zone to prevent abuse? I believe it already is, and
Yes.
if it's not, it should be.
No, it is.
It prevents it on the first time you enter, but I think subsequent enters, it just allows you to use it. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. You have to leave the stage zone to be able to teleport to it. So you should be all good there.
Mhm. If it's not, yell at us.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you, Linguiste, for this question. We'll move on to the next, also by Linguiste.
Yeah. Linguiste. Again, are there any other modes that you'd be open to adding? For example, gauss-gun maps from Half-Life 1, or grappling hook maps from Quake 1, or spy bungee from TFT.
There it is. So this is a project management kind of question. Right, so I'll take it. It depends. So it depends on, first of all, the depth of the gameplay. Does it provide something that another mode doesn't? Is it a mechanic that could be in every mode? So for example, grappling hooks or something, could that just be a thing in like all of the modes, right? Is it something that could have a competitive scene to it? Because again, if we just add a casual, like, oh yeah, like finger, like, or like, I don't know, like gauss-gun blasting, and there's like 2 maps, and like not everybody really cares about it. That's kind of the main like thing that I'm looking for out of modes to be added. Because I know there's a ton of niche things, like Beggar's Bazooka, for example, is an alternate version of rocket jumping, and that could be added as a sub mode of rocket jump, and that's our current plan, is to add that, but it's still rocket jump, if that makes sense. Defrag, on the other hand, is just the style of movement that you do is so different from the other modes. Like, you don't, I mean, bunny hop, yeah, you go forward, but like the way that you move in Defrag, which hopefully I can play a little bit in the after question party, you'll see, like, it's very specific. So that's why it's like, oh, like Defrag isn't technically rocket jump, even though it has its own rocket launcher. So like, yeah, it's mainly a balance of just like, what would the mode eventually become, right? Is if we did implement it as is, and then could it be altered? Could the mechanic that the mode is trying to introduce be introduced as just a mechanic that's used by mappers in every mode or specific modes? So that's kind of like how I view it as just project lead. I definitely want to support nicher modes, like Trick Surf and Beggar's Bazooka and things like Quad Rocket, as well as another rocket jump submode. So there's things like that just make sense, but under the existing umbrella. The 10 that we have, the 10 kind of overall modes that we have right now, are pretty expansive in the sense that they kind of cover a lot of existing communities, and that's the main draw. But that's the beauty of it too, is like AHOP's probably the smallest mode. Conk is probably the smallest as well, mainly because it's just so old, but it existed and had a huge community back then. AHOP is like, yeah, it's just Half-Life 2 runners and Portal runners. So like with adding the niche modes after we have these 10 big modes, right, to bring people in, that allows the expansion of like, okay, like exploring what existed in these other games. So I'm not opposed to adding more. I just have to evaluate it per kind of suggested mode, and not right now. It is not it was probably going to be closer to 2.0 if we start to add more straight up more modes. The sub modes will come kind of trickling in as we just get the movement or the specific mechanics like beggars, right? That'll come later, but like, yeah, the actual the actual like adding a new mode is something that's probably going to be closer to 2.0. Yeah. Was there any other input for Linguist's question? Okay. Thank you, Linguist, for this. Hopefully that helps. It's again, it's not a hard no, but it's just a matter of just seeing how it works. But all right.
Yeah, moving on to Jonas. With the movement server community shrinking, are you looking at the speedrunning boom to pull in new players?
This was a long-winded question, so I'm sorry if this got way truncated, by the way, Jonas. It was a very interesting question. It was like a full-on paragraph explaining kind of the setup for the question. But I think this overall gist is good here. So yeah, I'll go first here. The speedrunning boom is not our target audience. Like, people that just watch Ocarina of Time speedruns are probably not going to really care about a first-person platformer. So we can't really rely on the boom. The fact that speedrunning is more mainstream allows you to be able to share the game more widely, right? So you can say, hey, this is a speedrunning game or a game around speedrunning, and people will understand what that means. I've even done it in some of my job interviews that I've been having. So yeah, it's very fun. But we're not banking on just the speedrunning boom. I think the combination of the fact that the platform is free to play, that there's existing thousands of maps and community oriented like content, right? Combined with the fact that there will be a community aspect in the sense of like public lobbies, roaming lobbies, public clans, like things that you could join that make it so that you're not coming in, playing a map, not knowing what the fuck is going on and leaving. It's more of the sense that like you join, you see that there's all of this community, all of this extra stuff that's going on, and can join that as well if you're digging how the game is shown. But the fact that the game is free to play is probably the biggest draw. Going into a server, right? Going into CSS, you have to buy CSS, you have to find a server, you have to know what the mode is called, but versus our game, you download it, we literally show you like all the modes, we show you, or like we'll even have a UX that's like, hey, have you ever like heard of these modes? If not, go and check out the learn section and like learn how to play them before you jump in. And then with that, you jump in to really easy maps that you can take as long as you need to play on the map for however long that you want to before like trying out and then being able to play with your friends by literally just like one click hosting a lobby and inviting them, and that way you can enjoy the journey that you're spending with somebody else if you want to, if you have that available, but you don't have to. So I think that option, right, just being able to kind of delve into the game in your own respect will allow at least a lot of people to get into the game. But then we also need that community layer that exists over top the game with clans, with our Discord server that we're heavily promoting. Again, try to get people into the Discord server. That's where where we all are. It's where we kind of chat with you guys directly and everything. And just also the community servers and clans and so on, right? That level of community will also exist that people can join and be a part of. And ideally, again, right, we're not trying to kill servers. We're trying to offer a platform that they can exist on as well. So KSF, GFL, any clans like this that want to bring their community here can. Right, they'll be able to have dedicated servers that have map rotations. It's very familiar, very familiar setup. That they're used to. It's just, it would be on our platform, and it's actually even less that they would have to worry about because they don't have to deal with like hosting game servers anymore. They would just handle more of the clans, the dedicated server, but that's probably going to be way less intensive than a dedicated game server for for CSS or CSGO. And yeah, I would also like to argue that I don't think that movement server communities specifically in CS:GO, are shrinking. I think as long as CS:GO retains its popularity, the community movement servers will probably be okay, in the sense that there will always be a rotation of players that go into these servers to find out about it, which is perfectly fine in our view, because again, like, our game is focusing specifically on these modes, and those that are playing CS:GO matchmaking and then they have like a 30-minute to an hour break, or maybe they're winding down for the day, they can go and play on that server, and that's okay. And that's also why we're not targeting servers or anything like that. Otherwise, we would have already released and tried to kill off all surf servers or something if we really wanted to. Yeah, community, even though we're a single player game, communities are very important to us, because it's who, you know, you have your mappers are the backbone, and your community is kind of just like the content of, like, yeah, it's people setting times that you're gonna try to compete against. It's people playing with you, like, you know, having fun and making friendships that way too. So, you know, we want that. Like, we don't want to shun that away. If you don't want that, you can also still play too. Like, that's the benefit, I guess, of this. You don't have to join a clan's dedicated server. You can play by yourself if you want to. So, yeah.
One thing I just wanted to add, I don't think the speedrunning boom, that almost makes it seem like it's some kind of fad that's gonna like go away anytime soon. I don't think that's the case. I think speedrunning is just like inherently really fun, and it's just one of the best ways to play games. And I think as long as like games are
replay games, yeah,
right. So I think a lot of them. It is a boomer camera, Guido.
What the hell? I don't have a webcam on the top of my. I'm using my phone.
You know, the thing that makes people like both speedrun games and surf and whatever, like, it's just a sort of thing that's just completely unsurprising that people like that sort of thing. And I don't think that's like it's some kind of fad that we need to, like, you know, catch on to at like the exact perfect time, just because like everyone's doing like Minecraft speedrunning these days or whatever. Like, it's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, I didn't take it as a fad. I took it more as like with the ever increasing popularity of speedrunning, and the fact that I started streaming 2012, right, 2013. It was so fucking niche. Like, me getting over 100 viewers was insane, right? The fact that even 100 people knew about speedrunning enough to, you know. So the fact that is you can get thousands of your GDQs get like millions of dollars in donations now. It's awesome to see the ever increasing growth of speedrunning, but it isn't what we're banking on. We're actually kind of banking on the existing communities knowing about our game and trying us out to bring in players, and then ideally through also influencers. We are going to try to reach out to kind of influencers of various sizes. We have a list of people that we want to try to reach out to. Also, if you know any influencers that could be interested in it, you know, we can throw them a key. But the main thing is, right, we're trying to bank on just like people that are interested in these modes, like Summit, or, you know, somebody that played Surf or whatever before, checking it out, trying out maybe some other modes, advertising it to their community that could lead to people discovering it as well for the first time. Word of mouth is very powerful, especially because we have a very small marketing budget. Admittedly, like, many game studios like put aside thousands of dollars to like throw like, you know, ads, or like pay like full on like ad spots on like Twitch or to streamers or things like that. We're going to go very grassroots, like, just see if people will bite and try it out, because it's free to play, right? The most that they lose from trying is bandwidth and a little bit of time. So yeah, cool. Was there any other input for Jonas's question? Thank you, Jonas. Sorry for condensing it so down. The original question was really good, and hopefully that helps answer that.
Yeah, I think we split it into two.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, there were
Next
two.
question,
Yeah,
also from Jonas. How do you plan to reach out to the speedrun community that might be unfamiliar with the movement and who only watch speedrunning videos on YouTube?
So,
I imagine, like, our campaign is like a big factor for
Yes. Yes. Our campaign, which is aiming to introduce an original story into kind of interwoven with the movement, maybe that could inspire some people. We plan to collaborate with, I mean, it'd be really fucking cool to have like Trackmania players and like virtual, right? Check out the game and maybe make a video or two. And like, again, there's a lot of opportunity also for collaboration in the sense of like getting specific cosmetics and stuff too. So like, you know, if we want to make Trackmania cosmetics or something like referencing Trackmania, we could. The collaboration with YouTubers and Twitch streamers depends on the creator and whether or not they'll bite, quote unquote bite, if they want to try out the game. Again, they get the key for free, and we have no expectation on how they talk about the game. We would hope that we have a good enough game that they just say positive things by default. So that's kind of how my approach to it will be, and at least for how I want marketing to go. I really don't think paying like $1,000 to $5,000 for some like 25,000 impressions or whatever. I don't even know what the fucking like stats are, but that kind of level of marketing just might not provide what we're looking for, in the sense that like it's useful if you have thousands or if not like hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw to your AAA game, to throw it everywhere in every corner and getting, you know, smaller streamers paid for that. But rather, we're already a small group and, you know, volunteer base. So like we're kind of going with that like mentality towards marketing of like, yeah, obviously getting it in front of everyone's eyes is going to take probably a lot of time and maybe some money for some of the streamers that are bigger. We'll see. I don't know. Because again, the other thing too is if you make a really fucking good game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We won't. We might not even need to reach out to people. They could just.
Yeah, I just
find
want to
it.
jump on that because like you can tell when some AAA game pays a bunch of money for people to play it as like promo. You can tell, and it's shitter promo because of it.
Mhm.
You can tell they're just being paid to do it, right? We want to make a game that people are going to play because it's good and they want to play it, especially speedrunners. Like we're making
Yes.
a game that we hope that speedrunners should really enjoy and play because, you know, they want to play it and it's a fun game. Also, because like the fact we are a free game and we can't pay people to do that, I think just makes the whole process feel a lot more like honest and genuine. That
Yeah.
like I think people are going to be more keen to, you know, play our game on stream and sort of do promo for us because they know that we're not putting a bunch of money into promo stuff, and this is people that are making a game in their free time, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think reaching out to individuals financially is just going to be a complete waste of money because like
Yeah.
we have absolutely no money budget. Like we might have a small promo budget, but compared to like what a AAA studio is going to pay for like
Or even a small indie studio that makes money off of each sale, right? So it's like an investment.
Absolutely nothing there. Yeah.
Yeah. We have nothing, right? Like we can't make money off of people playing our game. So.
And what
But it is more eyes.
Right? It's like if someone plays some game that they're getting promo for, and you know they play it once or twice on stream or some video or whatever, that doesn't mean that much. But if we can get big streamers, you know, that play the game because they want it and then come back to it and play it consistently, that's what's going to get people really excited about the game, right? If it's actually getting getting played regularly by people, it's something that's a game that people come back to.
Yeah.
I think that's like, and I think Momentum will be really good for that. Partly because we've got just a bunch of modes, but also it's just like
drop in and play, right? Like it's just or was
I would also
plug
add
and
that
play,
I
yeah.
do think in that regard Momentum's a far better stream game than it is for YouTube videos. And
Yeah.
I just think you can't really do let's plays of Momentum
Right.
stuff like that. There's some great stuff, you know, like clips of like
The campaign will be more let's play.
campaign, true. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
campaign. Yeah, I'm thinking more towards 1.0, I guess.
But yeah,
Because
but
we'll be
one
doing-
for 1.0.
We'll be doing promo then as well.
Yeah.
But like the you know, you get stuff like, you know, Kurt beating Omnific for the first, doing no failing Omnific.
No
like
failing,
that makes
yeah.
a great YouTube video, yeah. But I mean, Ninja's definitely going to play Momentum. I can't wait for that. We're going to have Momentum mod on. Jimmy Kimmel. Momentum man. Is gonna,
Jimmy Kimmel's gonna play it.
yeah. But like,
Funny.
Come
What am I
in with
saying?
his Bored Ape avatar.
the kind of the thing that I think will get people really excited for it is if we get streamers that play it at their own volition and play it regularly. And I think we'll get that because I think a lot of people will see this game and care and know that like it will be clear that like people have put a lot of effort into it. It's not a for profit game, which is going to make people more keen to like promote it, right? Because it's so yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I think it will be streams more than videos, like YouTube.
From what I'm like, it is more hype to watch the grind, and then YouTube is better for world record like history progression, as well as compilation. So showing off runs that you might have gotten that you're really proud of and stuff like that. So that'll be great. But yeah, when it comes to like the actual like hour-to-hour gameplay of Momentum, you're grinding, right? You're going to be usually grinding, or you're going to be stuck on a map for a while, and it's like it could be pretty not that exciting. So,
but also in that regard, I just want to add that like we don't want to just get a bunch of players on launch and that's it. We're not just aiming to get a bunch of sales, then we're good. Like and absolutely
not even sales.
So,
right, just
exactly. We don't make any. We don't gain anything from people like playing the game once, really. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a statistic that we can use in some places, but it doesn't really mean much, right?
Yeah.
What we want is for players to like keep on coming back, and so having just like a couple of YouTube videos that someone makes on some channel, that will get it some attention, sure. But again, if it's streamers that are playing it regularly, that's gonna, I think, encourage their viewers to be playing it regularly as well. So if you some streamers and that just do it like after if they've been playing some competitive game or something for a bit, and like at the end of that they play Momentum for a bit at the start, whatever. I think we'll see a lot of that, and I think that will get people really interested in the game, and it will consistently bring more people in. And I think that will be a really organic form of promo, and one that like results in more than just a big burst of people on launch and then nothing. So.
Yeah. Is there any other input for Jonas's question? All right, thank you, Jonas.
It'd be cool to get a summoning stall video or something on like.
Right. I mean,
no, that would be great to see for sure.
Having like a deep dive type of YouTube documentary. That's something that has been on my mind for a bit.
No clip.
No clip documentary. Is KZ in the game right now? No. Yeah, so like we'd still have a lot to do as well before we probably even get the full reach of everyone, or have enough to reach out.
Yeah, but I mean, KZ coming after 1.0 will be good as well. There'll be being more people when KZ gets in. The CS:GO people, will come over and be like, "Oh, great, Surf and bhop's really good. Where's KZ?" And then we'll do KZ, and they'll come back and play that as well.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. On to the next question.
Thank you, Jonas. Moving on.
Yeah. CaWU asks. We've met Richard Presence and Matthew Fullbright. What other helpful fellas can help us on our adventure through Momentum on?
Could I take this one?
Yes.
It kind of goes without saying how much the people especially Richard Presence and Matt Fullbright have done for us and for the project, and how how much they've contributed, and just what how much they've added. It's hard to say. Dogathon. It's got to be up there.
Yes. Momentum Man. I mean, classic. We gotta.
Edward Norton, very cube map. Has done a lot.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
What?
Greg Rice has done a lot too.
Greg Rice. All right. That is way too much of an in joke.
That's just an actual person. God. What an inside joke.
Yeah.
Just scan that one.
There's a lot of characters. They'll be introduced properly throughout the campaign. So.
Oh my god, we're gonna have a Matthew Fullbright in the campain, aren't we?
It's gonna be the main character's name.
It would be an important dedication. I mean, and a memorial.
Memorial.
Hi.
Just rocket jump too hard. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh my god, yeah, the staring at the skybox. Went permanently blind and fell off the map. All right. Hopefully that helps answer it, CaWU. Just keep your eyes peeled for the various characters that are going to make their appearance. But yeah. All right, moving on to
All
the
right.
next question.
PX asks, thoughts on making bhop shawty the official Momentum Mod theme song? What is that?
What is bhop shawty? Hold on. Is this safe for streaming? Are we gonna get our first copyright strike?
Should I look this up right now?
I'm scared. All right, hold on. Let's
I mean,
see.
it's bhop, so it's probably like, oh,
What? I don't think I can find it. Is it like an actual like music video, or is it just?
No, there is. I think there's some fucking. There's some terrible song. It looks like.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. YouTube just doesn't want to show me it. They're like, all right.
Yeah, I found a SoundCloud.
I found XQC reacting to Foon.
SoundCloud.
There's a lot of bhop videos that are getting like multi-million views. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Well. Oh, it's on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Is it safe for the stream? Should I? Okay, hold on. I need to hear. This is Plara's video. One sec. I gotta get to the song. Okay. Is this the theme song for the scuffed bhop simulator?
Oh my god.
All right.
Oh, it's the lyrics are on genius.com.
Why? Sorry.
Is this just gonna be a bunch of gamer words?
No, unfortunately not, according to the lyrics. I really like the annotations on this thing. Bhop Shorty on genius.com, the lyrics, the chorus, which goes, I've been grinding all day with my bhop shorty. And then it has the annotation, the bhopper in question has been grinding all day with his bhopper friends.
Okay. I mean, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So I guess it's going to come with 2.0. When you boot up the game, you'll hear it. You actually can't stop it. It's going to be full blast.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I will remake that track or like remix it. So,
Okay, all right. We'll have an official.
you know,
We'll have an we should loop it. We should make a loop of it for the stream loop for the intro. That's our third loop song that we'll have for the intro of the stream.
I'll say the next question's stupid as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
We move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you, PX, for that question. Hopefully that answers that. It's coming to a Momentum Mod near you soon.
All right.
Maybe even a Q&A stream to you soon.
Keurig, the coffee maker.
Yeah.
Can you answer? Can you consider adding John, my beloved, to Momentum Mod? John.
After careful consideration, we are not adding John, my beloved, to Momentum Mod. I'm sorry, Keurig. Thank you for this question, though. I'm just kidding. John, your beloved, can sign up to the Momentum Mod playtest on our Steam store page, and we drop 50 a day, so it could literally be any day. So that's the actual answer to that, but
John Lemon.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. All right, a real question. NotEagle asks, how will Momentum Mod handle the different map versions? Which will get featured? If a map gets updated, what happens to world records? Can maps have the same name? That's a lot of questions.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so this is like 5. Okay. So there are different map versions, as maps are kind of splayed across different servers that do different fixes to them with different stripper configs as well. And this is actually a problem that Granis on the team is tackling. We want to try to find the, I guess, most competitively viable version of a map. So for a lot of the maps, we're typically going to use versions found on like KSF or, other like popular servers that have a ton of time submitted and where a lot of the competition is found. Now, obviously, we do extra work around fixing up maps because there's entities and like old mapping paradigms that were needed in order to, for example, stop the player or something like that. So we can do things like optimizations around the triggers, teleport triggers, and things like that. So by the time it actually gets submitted into the game, the actual version that gets featured is the one that we go through the map review process for. We're not just adding every map ever. It's like a whole process for adding a map into the map selector, which, yeah, I mean, by default, it goes through just an overview, a public testing period, private testing period for however long you need, public testing period for at minimum a week, just to get people's opinions on it, and then the internal team review, and at any point of those, it could go, it could get updated, it'll need more info, it could be retested for however long it needs in the public testing phase, and by the time it gets through the team internal like mapping board or review team, it will then basically be ready for release, and we release the map, and that is the version that gets on the site. Now, whether or not that map can be updated is very conditional. By the mapper, no. Mappers are not going to be able to update their maps after they've been fully released. So we're hoping that we have not only an extensive map preview checklist, catching things that even if we had to update a map in the future, like after it was released, we add to this checklist for things to check for. And then the public testing period, catching basically any problems with like FPS or, inherently terrible problems that would cause a need for an update. We want to catch as much as we can before. Now, I know we can't be perfect, right? Like, we can be as close as we can to, as perfect as we can, but there will be problems that we don't see, or maybe unintended like skips or something that need an update for the map. If it's a huge problem, there's a couple of options that we can do. So we can keep the current map that's like maybe with the problem around if it's still playable, like if it's a problem that's like maybe a skip is found or something, we can keep that version of the map around but unrank it, or we just straight up remove it and everybody's times gets just removed, like everybody everywhere. So you would lose the rank points for that. We don't really have anything other than that. You would still probably keep the cosmetic XP, because whatever. It's going to be extremely rare. Again, we don't want to be removing maps all the time. So all of the world records and stuff would be removed if it's found to be bad. If it's a minor update, if it's something like maybe some viz cluster or some, like some minor update where it's like it doesn't even really change the route of the map, it would just be updating maybe like performance or something really small, maybe a texture that was like forgotten about or something like that. We could do that. Again, we would have a checklist that like would catch these things before we actually release it, if it keeps happening or something, or if the mapper is like just known to not really check these things, we would do it. And then, so that would update just the BSP itself, and then all the times would stay, ideally, because there's no like route changes, there's no significant changes to the map. So we want the map. We don't want workshop. We don't want everyone uploading all of their maps left and right, and like there's no quality control, and like it's all shit, and it's like, oh shit, this map is terrible, we removed it. No. We'd rather have a due diligence process in place to check the map, make sure everything's okay, and then release it and handle things respectfully and retroactively as they happen. And then just updating our checklist when things like that happen that slip through. Can maps have the same name? Technically, yes, because they all have their own ID. Realistically, and in terms of user experience, no.
Yeah.
You're going to need to alter. You could add the game mode prefix. That's a classic. I mean, that's just kind of how maps and servers work. You would add the game mode prefix, and that's how people found specific maps. Now, obviously, we have more metadata around maps. We can store what category or what mode, primary mode that the map is made for. But ideally, down the line, a map could be used for multiple modes, right? We want to be able to support maps just being an environment that you can apply modes into. So like you could play defrag, you could play sticky jump, you could play rocket jump in the same map, or defrag and ahop on the same map, and have respective leaderboards for it. So exact same name, probably not, just in the sense of like searching, right? Now there's nothing in our database that prevents that. We key all of the maps by
Rewrite there is.
Oh wait,
Prisma has like a unique. I think I make the
you made the
remove that. Yeah, I think the name is currently under a thingy thing. I'll remove that.
yeah. So I mean, it just depends because I mean we don't want 400 maps named chaos or something. You know, like we don't.
Yeah.
So when it comes to submitting the map, we'll be looking at other maps with a similar name. They could be similarly named. I think right now the upload process kind of checks to see if there's a map with that name, and we prevent it from uploading right now. But again, there's realistically nothing preventing that because it's just a term that we use to search through all of the maps that exist. And then there's already filters for game modes. So you don't even really need the game mode prefix anymore either. The game mode prefix is just for legacy reasons. So if you load a map that's not on the map selector, and just for namesake, right? Surf, LT omnific or like versus just omnific, right? So yeah, that's kind of like how we're going to approach like different map versions and just what's on the site and how updates to maps will work. So, is there any other input for NotEagle's question?
Was that the same? Did you mean like same map names without the prefix?
I mean, even prefix or not, right? So if we have two surf underscore marbles or whatever, right? Like,
No, I meant like a surf map called, I don't know, surf speed and then conch speed.
no, yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm talking about too is we can probably just allow, two surf speeds, but the problem becomes like the differentiation is like has to be more visual. So it's like how the map looks. It becomes the differentiating. So like what we want is unique naming, right? And you'll be able to search the Momentum map repo at any time for the maps that are currently on there. So you just search the name of your map on there. Yeah. So I mean, ideally, it's pretty unique names. We can enforce that. I guess it's just kind of up in the air because I wouldn't want there to be like 5 maps named a similar like
definitely not.
skull or whatever, right? Like surf skull, bhop skull, or whatever. And it's like it's just all so. Yeah,
It's
again,
a lot of words.
it's a lot, and so just trying to find like a unique name. The same thing goes for suffixes and like the dangly bits at the end of the name. So if it's a proper sequel, like there's Sketchy and Sketchy 2, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can have the numerics at the end there. But if it's things like underscore RC7 or underscore final or anything like that, we're gonna remove those.
Redo.
Which version of Annex are we gonna use?
Oh gosh.
Probably the one that's more competitively viable. So, yeah. So that's the main thing. Is just like we'll be evaluating all of the versions out there. Most likely the more recent one is probably going to be better because it's after the mapper had some epiphanies around the map, right, and redid it or underscore final 2 or whatever, like just updated the map to be better. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of a process. So it will involve quite a bit of review. So maps aren't being rushed to be added on, especially new maps. But ideally, right, like we're going to have a refined enough process to where it just like from map submission after public testing to like actual release on the like server browser if there's or sorry map browser if there's nothing wrong with the map, it'll probably be in a couple days, like a day or 2. Ideally, right? Because we got to get the people on the board to look at the map, go through the checklist, play it, give their tier suggestions if it falls in line with what the mapper suggests, and any corrections around that, whether or not it'll be ranked or unranked, and maybe, there might be some back and forth with the mapper if there's like some problems, and then that might extend it. But yeah, if there's no problems with the map at all, a day or 2, I would say, from submission. So that's my estimate. Depends, right? All depends. Cool. Any other input for NotEagle's question? All right. Thank you for this question, NotEagle. I think this is our second to last, or we're approaching the end.
Oh no. We still have what, like 7?
Oh, 7 more. Oh, okay.
7 more.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
My apologies.
Yeah. Next question. Redz asks, or Redz asks, where is Zopha? I don't know. Where is Zopha?
So Zopha is currently doing a lot of real life job related stuff. So they are just very busy with that. It's understandable. I guess I'll take this time to plug that again. This game comes second. Real life is always going to be first for every single member of the team, including me. Again, that might make it seem like the game is going slowly or even slower or whatever, but this isn't our day job, right? Like we kind of have to focus on our real lives outside of the game. So so Zopha is currently dealing with some job related hunting and fun real life stuff like that. So they will they're once they get back on their feet with their real life situation, they're going to be right back in the project again. They're not being kicked out or anything like that. They've kept us up to date, so that's all that we ask, right? Again, if people join the team and get really busy all of a sudden, that's fine. Just keep us in the know, and it's all good, right? Game's not going anywhere. We're still here, so so that's where Zopha has been. Cool. Thank you, Redz. And
before the next question,
yeah,
chat, I'm sorry. I tried to be freaking funny and
Tom, is that
One of them looked like a kidney.
oh Jesus, I'm sorry. Oh my god.
It doesn't have to be a perfect key. Wait, were you drawing like the key
I did
cutting it out.
Cutting it out.
Oh, okay.
And I scrubbed the order of 2 characters.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The first time somebody asked me, is that J or L? And I saw it again, and I thought like, fuck, Jesus, somebody got it.
Because you're looking at it and it's a J, but then it's on the stream it's an L.
I do it again, and then I scrubbed the order. Oh my
classic.
God.
Classic.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, you're good. It makes it more fun. The suspense is killing them. I mean, honestly, the person that gets the key is going to try both, right? So, yeah. I'm glad that you're having fun, though, with it. Dropping the key.
Trying to, entertain people. Well, so.
Heck yeah. All right. Moving on, I guess, to the next question by Aart.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Aart. How helpful has the Open Collective been, and what have you been using the donations for?
So helpful.
We had a similar question
I think-
with Ozplo asking if we were going to spend any money on marketing. as well.
I think the first thing to say is you can see this. This is the nature of Open Collective, right? And why we're using it is that it lets you see what we're spending stuff on. I believe, unless I'm getting something.
No, you go as
No,
expenses.
but you can,
Yeah.
you can see for expenses. So yeah, if you go to expenses, you can see then computer parts, and Bell's bought a bunch of Blender stuff that's been using a lot, so you can sort of see like specific stuff.
Use it every single day. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was
Monitor it.
quadru measure. Yeah, that made total sense. I was like nagging you to get that.
Yeah.
Money
Yeah.
for.
And Mesh Machine is actually great. It's all Blender
Yeah.
add-ons. Yeah.
But,
I'm using it right now, actually. I'm working on the rock launcher.
But yeah, I mean, the main thing is for team members who, computer hardware. If someone's in a position where, they're going to really benefit from having better computer hardware, but can't like easily afford that themselves, then that's something that is well worth us spending the money on. In some cases, we've done stuff like Zopha's new machine, which I think he sort of paid bits of back of.
Yes.
Like, as it's gone forward, and it's just been a way of making like that a lot more financially easier for Zopha. And
Yes.
I still get confused by the platform settlement thingy. That's some like PayPal related thing, right?
Yeah, when people donate via PayPal, they give us the tip that goes to Open Collective, and then at the end of every month, Open Collective's like, "Hey, that tip was actually meant to go to us," because they couldn't split the tip out of it, because otherwise you do 2 PayPal purchases technically. Yeah, so they just let us take all of it, and then they just ask for that tip amount back, which is fair. So we have to pay it every or it might not be every month. If we only get like Stripe payments, which is credit card, that is I think properly split out, and then that is we only get the donation part of it. So yeah, a little weird, but yeah, I think it has been extremely helpful, because the Open Collective not only shows that the community passionately cares enough about what we're doing that they would financially support us to the extent that they have, but it has allowed us to basically start to get confirmed hardware that is going to directly benefit the team. And we're not done by any means. Like, we're very carefully evaluating. Right now, computer hardware is coming back. Thankfully, the crypto bubble is popping. We are going to be getting Vortex a new PC very soon. So that's the next thing. And
Vortex has been on a laptop.
Yeah.
When Vortex does graphics work, it's ludicrous. Like, Vortex is incredibly skilled and does all this graphics work, and he's on like a laptop.
And it's been shit because it's like, do we pay $2,000 for a 3060, or do we, you know, it's ridiculous. So now that it's actually gaining back to MSRP, we can actually build Vortex a proper rig to do amazing work, amazing rigging, and just awesome graphics work, graphics related. I guess
last question's really good. There's Twitch Prime towards devs costs. I've lost track with the Twitch Prime stuff. That's going to server stuff most at the moment, isn't it? Or
no, so Twitch Prime goes to the same bank account that stores the Open Collective money. So it's the same pool. And right now we don't pay for any services. I might, because right now I'm very comfortably paying out of pocket for, it's like $3.90 for our team storage. That's very doable for me.
Team storage and like the two
out of pocket.
Right?
We do have 2 VPSs right now that we're going to see how much that's going to fucking balloon, because we have to do multi-region.
A good amount.
And then we have to do a monthly database cost and bandwidth and storage costs. Right now, storage cost is like 12 cents a month, and we have like fucking like 40-50 gigabytes worth of replays. It's ridiculous. And then also the maps, but yeah. So it might be used for that, but the way that the Open Collective is set up is that the team does come first. So team needs things like software. False got a new monitor as well as some Blender plugins. And yeah, and it's just been, it goes directly towards the work that goes towards momentum. And, you know, again, I'm financially fine, is how I'll word that. I'm okay, especially considering if these interviews that I have coming up with coding companies go well, I'll be even more okay. So the money that is being sent to the team should be going to the team, and it is. So every single team member has access to this fund, and it helps directly pay for like licenses or services that the team itself uses. Makes the most sense, right? And then I've been kind of fronting the cost of just the VPSs, because we just have to figure out the actual platform costs right now. Like right now it's just all hazy. We're on one VPS for our backend, which is terrible in terms of global scale, but it's working like decently well. But at least we don't have like 10,000 or plus concurrent users, so I have no idea what the load balancing or what it's going to handle.
And like software scaling for 1.0 is something we're giving a lot of thought. I mean, it's really you know, just a sort of constant thing, and how we make the financial stuff work is something we're pretty constantly thinking about.
Yeah, because it's like
the current setup with Backblaze and Cloudflare is working really pretty well, and is really promising for the future. And
then R2 could scoop in and kind of can take over the when that comes out. So there's definitely a lot of services that we're just trying to evaluate, or at least I'm evaluating right now, in the sense that like I need to estimate, like, again, I'm expecting launch to be 10,000 concurrent, and then over time, like over the next couple months, going down to maybe 5,000 to 6,000 concurrent or less. I don't have any higher expectation than that, because that is realistically for this game, right? I don't think, right? It's not that I'm saying that the game can't explode. It's just that realistically, right? It's very niche movement, very niche game modes. Like, it's not really a wide stream appeal like Amogus would be, right?
Wait, what was the top concurrent you said? 5K concurrent.
So I would say probably 5K concurrent at any given time. I mean, that suits us in the top like 200 of Steam games, and we're a free to play game, so that's probably to be expected. Yeah. And assuming we have regular content drops as well as adding new modes like KZ and parkour, and then the campaign, you know, we have a roadmap ahead of us that will hopefully keep that kind of going back, you know, up to 5K. Again, I'm really making this game because I want to play it, so I don't actually care if 5K isn't even the number we even hit. I just really want to play something like Momentum. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the Open Collective. It's not... again, server costs is not really what it's for, but it could be used. And then similarly, asked by, I think, Osblo, right, in chat, about have we used it for any of the advertising, or do we want to set any of it aside? We could. It's a team-wide decision at that point because it is our own pool of money. Yep. And so, right, like it should be just discussed with the team, and if it's a viable thing, like how much do we get out of it, because again, if we're just adding more people to like complain or yell at us, is it really worth the couple hundred to thousands of dollars to bring on as many new people as we do? So
it's incredibly easy to throw money away at advertising, right?
Yeah, and not even get anything out of it. They could go to influencers that don't even, it's not even our target audience, and then they just, it's gone.
It can be a complete money thing, and it's something.
So,
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. So advertising is not really high priority. Team wellness is kind of, so like the better software, better hardware, just making sure we're all comfortable there, and then figuring out what the pool of money could be used for. Because again, I don't want to hold on to it. I have no need for it. I do want it to go into the team's hands. So and I'm extremely grateful for every donation that's being put towards the team, because it's
I just wanted to add that, like, if we end up with, like, you know, we for some reason get 10K concurrent, which is really unlikely to happen, then, like, proportionally the number of donations likely to come in through the Open Collective is going to get a lot higher, and then it's
relatively
going to spend some of that money, right? So there's going to be some proportion of like donations to play,
especially if we link to it on the main menu. I mean, we don't facilitate, like, you know, you won't get anything out of it, but if we link to our Open Collective in the main menu, so that you know how to support us.
So if cost ends up, you know, really ballooning out, and then we should have the money to cover that in the short term, right? Yes. And then can start thinking about the long term and how we continue keeping that rolling through, you know, for years and years, and how we keep that financially stable, and whether that ends up being, you know, through donations, we'll see.
Yeah.
The one thing I also just wanted to add is we do tend to be really quite stingy with money, and most people, like, you kind of have to convince other team members that they're like worth the money being spent on them. Like, Ethan just did not want to accept that, like, he should get a second monitor for a while, and we were like pushing him to be like, you have spent hundreds of hours doing modeling work for us on a single monitor. We have this money that is aimed for this thing. Let us buy you another monitor.
Fucking one monitor.
It's certainly not like, you
Insane.
know, it's just like, oh yeah, I feel like a new chair because my old one is slightly less comfy than it used to be, or something.
Right.
It's Open Collective money.
It is needs.
I got
over
a desk.
Yeah.
Right, but you need a desk, and like your old desk was didn't you have to?
It's a coffee table, and I sat on the ground.
So yeah, I don't. No one is like casually spending money that comes through donations. Obviously, you know, it really means a lot that people are donating money to us, and it's important that we use that in an effective way. And don't...
it is investing in the team in a way, because the more donations we get, the better the overall team's hardware and like everything can be, and which produces a better game in the end, right? Technically, if it goes to the right people, right? If it's spent wisely, in the sense that, like, this is something that's being actively used. It's not like, oh, I wanted to try out FL Studio, right? Like, it's more of like I use FL Studio all the time. Can we get like a license, right? So
we tend to do really well with software costs
or plugins.
Because we use so much open source software, and in lots of cases take advantage of the fact, because we're open source, we can get free licensing to stuff. you know, we don't have to spend money on, you know, our JetBrains stuff or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Like we, you know, our next cloud setup is kind of dirt cheap, but we've done it in a clever way that works for everyone.
Yes.
So we're really good, I think, at actually not, you know, chucking money at like proprietary stuff that we don't need.
Yeah. I'm very cost sensitive when it comes to our team and the platform. In the sense that I'm not wanting to cheap it out. I just want to get the best bang for the buck and not be fucking scammed over time. Like,
and there's so many services you can just chuck money at and like not be, you know.
And it's like you'll get a product, but it's like you could be paying, you could be paying like $100 less a month if you just use this other service or with a little bit of elbow grease behind it. So hopefully that helps answer this question, because it is like, again, we are really appreciative of every single donation that we get. It means a lot to us. We have it announced in our Discord and like also in our team channel, which I think I fixed now. But yeah, it is awesome to see that people are really passionate about like what we're doing and that they want to support us like that. And yeah, I hope that we don't get to a point where it's not financially unsustainable. I mean, I'm gonna try to try my best to make sure that never happens, to where we're scaled out of the ass, or like we have. I mean, if we get to the point where we have like mind-boggling amount of like active player numbers, like if we get top 20 or whatever Steam or player numbers, at that point monetization, if we just push donations, if we push that and kind of word it as like, hey, like this kind of helps us with the incurring costs that you guys are doing, like that could nudge people to support us out more, especially if they like the platform. I like that approach more than like a, hey, buy the game, which we can't do, or hey, buy these cosmetics, which we can't do, or the third option is a subscription service to our backend, where we'll allow you to play and like get XP, but like the cosmetics and everything around that would be locked behind whether or not you pay us.
Cosmetics couldn't be
a monthly. I mean, no, sorry.
It was an in-game thing. They couldn't.
Right. Sorry, I meant.
It would be stats and.
Yeah, it would be stats. Yeah, access
right now,
to.
We work on stats, like we want everyone to have access. I mean, you know, there's always.
Like you wouldn't. I guess you wouldn't submit times at all to our leaderboards. We would just use the Steam leaderboard API, and that's like unverified and everything. Like it would just be that. It'd be pure chaos, which is terrible, because in a visual, you know, look of that is not gonna be great. Seeing like a bunch of like dirty times on that. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I don't know how big the game will be, but I try to keep modest expectations with room for growth, as well as scalability is like a huge part of what we want.
But as we work in these systems, right, and we do the back end stuff, and we think about, you know, the amount of, you know, how much each user is going to cost in terms of bandwidth or whatever, and processing power and stuff.
The average, average.
I mean, we're managing to keep that stuff really like impressively low, and we're doing stuff in really intelligent ways, such that like
caching maps,
that, like we need like
images.
In terms of, but if we think of, you know, the amount of donations we need per like 1,000 concurrent users or something, like in theory we can keep that really pretty low, such that if we're super honest with our financial model and just saying that, like, you know, this is the cost we need, and like hope that, you know, per 100 users that we're getting, I don't know, maybe $100 a month from those. Oh, that's a complete number out of my ass, like, you know, maybe $10 a month per 100 users, something like that. Then, you know, that might well end up being completely sustainable, and that just goes on to, and that scales, right, proportional to users. So
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it remains to be seen. So keeping realistic expectations.
Right? We don't know those numbers.
And then it turns very quickly into just a giant anxiety pit of like, of anxiety of like, oh fuck, like what if we get 1 million concurrent? But that's like at the scale of like fucking like small like Fortune 500 companies, or, you know, like towards the bottom of the Fortune 500. Like million concurrent is huge, like huge numbers, and that's like realistically looking at momentum, right? It could happen, but like the probability of that, right, versus like 10,000 peak, right, and then just as the game kind of festers in different communities and people see it and
it's
play it, drop it, or, you know, whatever they end up doing, so it kind of just flows. But
It'll scale.
get that Fang job and then
Exactly.
Oh god.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like the cost of the actual backend might not be an issue if I'm able to find the right services and prep for budgeting, right? Budgeting with estimated like 10K concurrent or something users. I could probably fit that very easily into a monthly budget for me. And pay out of pocket, sure, but it's my project and I'd want to do that. And then that way all the donations, if we start getting an increase in them, we start fulfilling team needs for everyone on the team. And then just seeing like if there's a bunch of excess money, then could it go towards maybe some of the smaller costs like the team storage that we use for like sharing maps and assets and things back and forth.
Which costs like $4 a month.
Yeah, which is really cheap right now and very, very nice.
For a
very,
terabyte. It's so good.
It's very good. Shout outs to Hetzner.
It's not
Hetzner
in particular.
Hetzner storing Nextcloud, and shout outs to Nextcloud because it's very, very intuitive.
It's pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
it's not as good as Dropbox, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like we could talk about the financial.
Want to move on? Yeah.
We could. Yeah. This is it's a very fun topic.
We talk about this a lot. It's kind of depressing, but like it's
we have to right now. It's a very important step for our platform. So cool. Okay. Thank you, Aart, for that question. We'll move on.
Yeah. The next couple questions are very similar, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead, read this one, and then read the next one.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think they go together.
I couldn't fit them both on there, so I just made them two.
Yeah. So, first question from Murgle. Let's say a player is on world record pace run and their internet connection drops for around 10 seconds, comes back, and they finish the run. Will it upload?
No.
And then, the next question from Lepi. If a run is completed offline when you reconnect, will you be able to submit it?
No.
No.
No to both. I want to remind for the first one here, dropping partially throughout the run. It depends how long. Again, we have heartbeat things that we'll be doing every so often. Might be every 5, maybe every 10. It depends. So if you have somewhat unstable internet but pretty good speeds, you'll be somewhat okay. As long as, again, it's HTTP. There's retries, right? So it's not like a UDP packet that, if you're playing on a multiplayer server, it just drops and whatever, we reconcile, we extrapolate or whatever. It's the case of like we're buffering data and sending it out in a regular interval. So obviously, right, we don't want to cater to the leniency around dropping packets or data like that. Starts to open up holes in how our run verification system is going to work. We would have to assume that, what you sent us for your replay makes sense for that time period that you lost internet or something. I would also like to remind you that if you were on a multiplayer server, you would just be kicked off the server, like at that point, right? So yeah, I mean, there's no equivalent that we could do. It's like if you lose connection, we're not going to freeze your character in place until you regain connection or anything like that. It'd be really cool if we could detect that, but it'd be really glitchy, like, because there are some times where packets might just straight up drop, but then the next retry it works. So then you'll just like stutter, as you go through your run if you have terrible internet or something. But the other thing we're keeping in mind too is that we want to optimize what we're submitting, right, to make sure that's the smallest data packets. Like it's very like minimal internet, because hopefully even less than if you were playing in a multiplayer server, right, for what you're sending. For the amount of time and the data that we collect and everything. We're going to be trying modern compression, right? Z standard. We're going to be utilizing as much tooling that we can around the data that we're sending. And then, that sends over to the server processes it along with your run. So, so kind of like a sort of for this in the sense that like if the 10 seconds or whatever, maybe more closer to 1 to 3 second drop or whatever, if that happens between heartbeats, sure. If the heartbeat retries enough, maybe if we give a retry period of like 5 seconds for each heartbeat that we do, maybe it could overlap just the right way that it sends it in the end, and like we'll account for that. But there's only so much leniency we can provide before it starts turning into an abuse or an attack vector that cheaters could use to doctor runs, being like, wow, I just kept losing internet every 3 seconds. What? That's so crazy. Here's the world record, by the way. Like, you know, like that kind of stuff where like we can't be too lenient against it. There's going to be levels of like, yeah, if we're not getting heartbeats in a reasonable amount of time, we got to let the user know about that. And the timer will reflect that too. So if you're in the middle of a world record run and you straight up just lose internet, like disconnects, like you no longer can send any heartbeats, and like our retry period comes and goes and it's still not sent, we will update your timer or a toast or something in game that will let you know, hey, this isn't going to submit. And ideally, right, if it's not too far into a run, you can be okay with that. You know, because again, I'm sure that if you're streaming music or anything, that's also going to stop. So you're going to very obviously be jolted from it. It's not just going to be momentum that's affected by this. So yeah. Yeah. And then when it comes to offline runs, no. You can, but okay, I guess, hold on. Sorry. A couple more things with this. We will always save runs locally. So assuming that you do complete the run and it's a sick ass world record, this is going to be considered an offline run, right? You get it saved. It will not upload. It will be very clear by the time you complete the run that it's not going to. The end of run screen is also going to have a little error thing not submitted because of that. And yeah, it's the same thing for a run completed offline in the sense that, yeah, if you're offline, we have no reason to know whether or not what you just did at all was doctored or not. So, you know, the more you could do online, the better it is for validation. And unfortunately, right, part of our marketing is you don't need a multiplayer server connection, but you do need internet connection to our website.
Usually, to be.
And very specifically, our run validation server, that's a separate network. It's not the same backend that the API would be under. The API is a completely different beast of like layers, and the run validation heartbeat packets basically that we'd be sending are a separate layer and like completely decentralized or removed from the API. The API and the run verification service could probably communicate, but that's like when runs get submitted or something.
Makes me,
you know,
very happy that we don't have to use Express for like a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
But I should also just add, this isn't, you know, all our NTT does. This is just something that we consider to be a necessary part of our like overall picture of how our NTT is going to work.
It is one component of our run validation
that we want and insist on having.
Yes. Cool. So hopefully that helps answer this. It is unfortunate. I know not everyone has perfect internet. We're going to try our best to put the proper points of presence around, choose the right network backbone, putting our services on the right server providers that have great connectivity there. And we'll see how well it scales. You know, that's the other thing, is just how many people in each region could affect it as well. But we're going to be looking at web tech that's more optimized for many connections at once. So
PHP.
Yes. Wait, what was the worst one? I forget. Yeah, I think it was. I think PHP. Anyway, I think Python's worse than Node or something. I would have to look it up, but yeah, it's or like Flask or whatever.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun for us to write as well, doing the run stuff.
Yep. And then testing it vigorously, load testing it, and then at release, hoping to God it doesn't catch on fire and that we have enough backup protocols in place for everything. So, yeah.
This is like the fun version of my current API work. I can't wait to see this stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So hopefully that answers this. Was there any other input that people had for Murgle and Lepi's question? Okay, cool. Thank you both for that. And moving on.
Yeah. Diaries asks, will existing/established maps be added in batches, or will they have to be submitted again individually?
Great question, actually. So I touched on this, I think, in NotEagle's question. We want to have a map review process, but I think for the already existing maps, the way that the 1.0 kind of map pool will work is we want to add. So O10 and onwards, we want to try to add as many maps as we can to iron out issues that could arise with zones or the fixes that we have, the entities that we have, and get that figured out before 1.0. And then ideally, right, we just add as many fan favorite maps as we can. The most played maps on servers, fan favorites, right? Things that are a great like selection of each mode. Some modes don't even have that many existing maps, like bhop, right? So you kind of have to like bank on enough quality content there. But past that, right, like we'll have this internal batch of like existing maps. There will be also momentum specific maps that are created using momentum entities that are, you know, in parallel created by other mappers. Those will have to be submitted individually. So yeah, ideally the existing maps are kind of fast tracked into the game via like an internal team process, because we're
okay. Do we not want to put them through map review?
It would be great to because we want to stress that we want to test the map review system in place, and that's what the 0.10 updates will be.
Yeah.
And so we might do them individually in that case, but by the time 1.0 happens, the existing maps that went through those processes will just be added. Like they'll just be batched, batch dropped, batched, processed.
A pool of stuff we're really happy with is going to be super great.
Exactly, and then dropping a shit ton of maps every week, but not enough to overwhelm. You know, because we'll have like UI that shows like newer maps that are being dropped. So, yeah, cool. Any other input for Diaries question?
Was this asked by disres?
Wait, oh no! Google pulled an Oslo again. God damn it!
Oslo.
Oh, sorry, disres.
I was wondering. I was like,
yeah, I was like, I've never seen a Diaries. I'm sorry. I don't know. I gotta turn off autocorrect when I'm typing these out or something. I don't know the setting. They used to not. They used to just be like, oh, this might be spelled incorrectly. Now they autocorrect for some reason. So yeah, apologies again. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that it's not like they're not going to be reviewed.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go into porting.
Yes.
We have like a whole doc of them, and we're going to be making sure that.
But if those ones that are
correctly
by people we kind of know and have been like the initial first ports, that'll be really good for testing out the map review system, which we're aiming to get for 0.10. Kind of my goal at the moment with the API work currently, then moving into the map review and submission straight after that's finished.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Thank you, Diaries, for that question.
Diaries.
Fucking autocorrect.
And next question from Paddy. This is the second last question.
Okay.
What are some cool stats we will be able to look at through the website, live timer, and end of run screen? That drawer panel looks pretty excited. Yeah.
It's crap right now.
It's like, pretty empty.
To get more data.
Yeah.
The drawer panel stuff is not hooked up yet. I'm going to take this if that's all right. Or
for sure. Go crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah. I got licensed like a few weeks back. I think this is the first stream we've done since I've had license. I can't remember.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
I think it is.
That's right. Yeah.
We brought on me, Cowboy, and Pinscreaker.
Yep.
In particular stuff for me, I'll definitely try and get it to some game issues in the future, like close to 1.0 probably. But my main reason for bringing me on is to just be hooking up API work that I'm doing at the moment to game stuff, and especially the UI. So I'm kind of doing quite a lot in the UI front end right now, and in the actual API backend. So I've done a lot of the panorama stuff in the actual in-game UI. I've made a lot of the profile UI stuff already, but until recently I wouldn't be able to hook that up through the C++ layer to the API. So it kind of made sense to license me, in particular because like I can be doing, not having to have a sort of go between. In a way, it's quite nice working with someone else, like cooking the stuff up together, but it's quite a lot of like threads that all need sort of tying together, and it's just a bit of a pain. Yeah. So it's going to be really helpful, me being able to do that. Stats we can really improve. Right now we don't track. I think the first thing I'd like to do, I spoke to Gok a little bit about, is do map sessions.
Yes. How long you've played a map.
Yeah, and that data basically tells you how long you played a mode, right?
Yeah.
And so you get a lot from that.
Yep.
That's sort of the main hole in our current stat tracking, that we haven't a lot of run data currently. How many runs you've started, all the runs you submitted. Well, I'll get back to that. But then right now we don't do just overall sessions on a map. And that's basically just a new endpoint. We're gonna one we'll write quite soon after the rewrite's finished will be a map session endpoint of some sort, probably on the existing maps endpoint. That's just when you start playing a map, stop playing a map, and then a heartbeat. So if you crash, then we know that you haven't been playing the map for 20 years or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll allow us to do a lot, right? Because that tells us how long you played each map and how long you played each mode. And from there, how long you spent on what sort of tiers and what mode, stuff like that. Yeah, that's possible. What about?
Yeah. Because that ties in with things that we'd be logging, whatever.
Yeah.
Like things like when you first boot up a map, we log that, and then also when you first submit a run, we could log.
Yeah. There's also the current system is we use this in the database. It's called the base stats model, which is kind of used for a lot of stuff, and it's not really fit for purpose.
Yeah.
It's pretty old, and right now it tracks 2 different types of strafe sync, which I'm sure is really useful.
Very useful for rocket jump
fired or just sort of standard stuff you'd want to track in
other modes,
specific modes. So I'm not quite sure how we'll do that structurally. That's something that Gok's really good at figuring out, in all the different layers. So I'm sure he'll figure that out. With our current API rewrite stuff, new stat stuff's really, really nice. I won't go into technical stuff much, but the way we use a system called Prisma, that makes working with the database layer and setting the structure of the database incredibly nice. And one of the big things I've been doing in the past month has been sort of rewriting a lot of that and to make the Prisma stuff cleaner. And I actually have the schema file right now because I was looking at that thing of whether maps actually have the names are forced to be unique, which are actually not. I thought they were. That is going to make transforming these stats, making them better, so much nicer. And this is something I care about so much because we're a game that's just full of numbers and statistics, and we can be recording them way better and showing them way better. There is a limit to how much we show in game as opposed to the website, because making web UI is still easier than game UI. In particular, that Angular talking to an API is really nice, and you can do your services in Angular really well, and you have these super clean, tight interactions. C++ is harder because it's sort of C++, and we do it. But it takes more time, and then it takes longer to make that UI. So we'll definitely do a lot in the game stuff. I care a lot about the profiles page, and I'll be doing a lot there. But there's also way more we can be doing on the front end as well. A lot of the real deep stats breakdowns and stuff we can be doing on the front end. And, yeah.
That's the purpose of the site. The site is extending the game's UI. So you'll be seeing a lot more buttons open my map stats. And or see map stats or whatever, and it'll open in the Steam browser.
We'll do a decent amount in game, more than we expected to do when we had VGUI.
Right. Yep.
But still, Angular's the best way of doing it. Also, I think if you open the dashboard in the Steam browser, it's going to auto log you in because you're already in a Steam session, which is nice because people just constantly cry about having to log in with their Steam single sign-on on the actual web dashboard. So I could go on about stats for ages, and I think we've spoken about it a bit before, and I don't want to take forever, but it will improve a lot. The profile draw is going to improve a lot. Oh, there is another very cool thing that we have for the profile panel that you'll see in the future.
Yeah,
but that needs models actually. And fun things. But yeah. Anything else got?
So yeah, I would say that each element will be kind of improved as we collect the stats related to it. So things like comparisons on the live timer, end of run screen's pretty good. I think we just need better run stats to
Oh, and the
compare,
websites, yeah.
and then the comparisons, being able to compare against any other run that's coming,
Yep.
and then the website just kind of being an extension of all of this, being able to run compare against 2 submitted runs, like things like that, where we want the website to be kind of the hub for all of this really cool stuff that you would otherwise use an API for. So, specific things I don't have any input. We kind of need like mock-ups, and we also need to query around to see what people would want to see as well, like how you guys are saying in chat, like what kind of stats would be cool to see, like for a newbie, like like how long does it take somebody to actually submit a run for this map versus like what the actual like world record run, like, so you can actually see more difficult maps that way technically.
I really want to get the Angular stuff when the new backend's done, then improving the Angular models and hopefully getting more contributors there. Doing stuff like some of the big stats breakdown and stuff we wanted to see. That's all open source, by the way. So if people are keen on that, then get in touch with me or Dark and go to the web work. And,
and we are always open for more help. Yeah.
The quick thing about will you take cheated world records off scoreboard? Yeah. I mean, well, there's not going to be loads of specifics now, but it's the goal.
I mean, we definitely want to add some admin endpoints.
Oh, the current cheated thing.
Yeah, the current cheated runs. Like we can add some admin endpoints as part of this website. The website is being remade, and then it'll be deployed fresh. So every run's being wiped soon. And again, the pop-up when you get into the game tells you that. Again, we're also going to wipe at 1.0 when we fully release to the public. So, I just wanted to say, Murgle, who asked the previous question, has actually done a PR that adds run dilution. Yes.
We haven't merged because we don't really care about. Hi, Jaunty. Thanks for not saying hi to the other fruit, by the way. We're not really merging new stuff into the backend really right now because we want to get the rewrite done, and then we'll basically take the code there, and I'll probably end up doing the
porting of it.
That deleting endpoint, on the new backend, and then the front end stuff we can still use, obviously. So a lot of that stuff, some of the code is already there. And we'll definitely be doing it. So.
So. I guess the only other, I'm just trying to think, like the only other thing. Like we would probably wipe for the website redeploy in zones, and then the replay refactor. So both of those are kind of like where the wipe zones.
Okay, no wipe's going to be great because the plan is we wipe, then get the new backend live. And then we'll also having map submission then hopefully. That's really the goal at the moment. So that will be not just the backend getting wiped, but actually. The whole database structure will be changing in subtle ways, and we'll be, in fact, that puts a point where we intend to. We're currently on MySQL, and we want to be moving to Postgres then. So it will be actual different DB software after 0.10. So.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of great stuff coming. So
no, we'll move to Mongo.
And then move to SQLite, which is pretty awesome. SQLite's pretty good, but. Anyway, cool. Thank you, Paddy, for this question. We'll move on to, I believe,
the last
question. Yeah.
Woo!
We made it.
We're gonna have to play Conk because I redeemed it.
Okay, fine.
But did you do the big one?
The big one. All right, I'll play it.
It's when you held up the please playing Conk.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
All right, last question from Toopliss. Hi, Toop. What's everyone's favorite map? Can be from any level, from any game, not just momentum or movement game modes.
That's a Halo.
Mine
too.
Mine is Snakewater. I love Snakewater.
I'm going to say 2 AHOP things. One in Momentum, one in Half-Life 2. And I think AHOP Coast, I talk about a lot. AHOP Coast is a masterpiece, and I love it. So that's probably my favorite Momentum map. It's just such a big achievement. It's pretty much unbeatable. Half-Life 2, Canals F7. which is not. You don't even do the Canals i7 launch anymore, because of like that's where you set up the quick clip, I think, or maybe the route's changed. I've barely looked at it the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
But you know the doing like the dam jump thing you do.
Yep.
Where Maxim found just this gorgeous launch. It used to be that I remember from like the video you did years back
I
of like
understand what
learning
you're
it.
talking about.
You like clip on a bunch of like roofs and stuff.
Yep.
Like,
Above the.
sucks.
Yeah.
And then Maxim found this gorgeous skip where you just do this lovely launch. It's just a circle straight into an ASH, and it's. I
Yeah.
always loved doing in when I ran HL2. So that's probably my favorite HL2 map I've done. It's always been Canals i7. So.
Yeah. For me, I'd probably say Headlong from Halo 2. I have so many hours of just super bouncing on that fucking map. That I have it like the entire layout memorized, and I know how to get on top of the X building, and it's a classic map. Just how open vertically it is. You can like Banshee. You can use the Banshee to rocket launch all the way up to, yeah, great times in Halo 2. I'd say Headlong. It's like my overall just classic favorite map. A map from Half-Life 2. I mean, I don't know. Half-Life 2 has so many different maps. I would say the Red Letter Day Train Station 05 map is now my favorite because you literally fucking skip it.
Oh, what? Just a whole.
You just literally fly over Kleiner's lab and then you skip it.
Coast 08 as a special place.
Oh, beautiful map. Beautiful map.
No. I still wish Embellis would pull Coast 08.
Costo 2 is actually my favorite map. It doesn't exist.
Well.
Anyway, yeah, and then Happy. What's your favorite map of any game that you've ever played?
Can I cheat and
Yes.
kind of correct the 2 maps?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can list a couple.
It's not a long list, but I'd say, well, I did play competitive TF2 back in the day, so I'd say pretty much everything that played at least in competitive TF2. It can be payload. From TF2, I'd say CP process because it just has a great rollout. I can't even learn it.
Yeah, I mean process and Badlands, are just 2.
Yeah.
They don't play Badlands anymore.
Oh, do they?
Really?
No, they don't.
Oh,
Why?
Pretty sure maybe they added it back,
Yeah.
but they took it out. Yeah.
Process is like the best thought out TF2 map, right, by a long way, right?
Yeah.
It's just so
Scorpio's map. Wait, is it a Scorpio? It's a Scorpio map.
process mid.
Fantastic
It's just,
map.
come up.
you said Badlands.
I don't know why. I just love Snakewater though. It's so nice.
You said Badlands, and I remember.
As a demo
that.
main, I guess.
I like Sunshine.
I like
Sunshine.
Thunder Mountain. Thunder Mountain's the
So-
best pub map.
In TF2, pretty much everything that plays competitive. I'm also known as Payday fanboy over here, so I'd say in Payday it's gonna be Undercover and Nightclub, and what else I wanted to say, I forgot. But even Jesus, there was a map that I wanted to say, but I forgot. Give me 5 seconds. I remember. Give me. I also did play OG Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, so pretty much every map in there too, except Overgrowth. I think it's called. It's was that foggy village? I don't know, an old map.
Overgrown.
Yeah.
Overgrown,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. I kind of hated that map because it just has a lot of grass in there, but in general, pretty much everything from Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Too many good level designers.
I think in terms of level design, some areas of FromSoft games need a shout out.
Yeah, just the entire Elden Ring map.
I think parts of
They just
Leonia
need a
in Elden Ring are just so
It's
so
so
well
map.
done.
Technically.
Yeah. Parts of Elden Ring, I think, has the best level design in any game I've ever seen.
Cool.
But we could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah,
many
sure.
games.
A lot of great levels, yeah.
Also,
Honorable-
a DE Lake on CS:GO.
Fucking
I
wingman.
still love Lake Wingman. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I have like hundreds of games on that. It's terrible. But,
Oh, honorable mention. bhop aux VIP. Oh, sorry,
That's a great map.
WMP.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a great map. Aux, please.
Orchard's new map is going to be, so.
It's gonna be.
Cannot wait, bro.
Yeah. His new map's also really
Bless
nutty.
us with a map.
Can't wait.
I really
And-
like those open, like kind of open
Oh, it's
world
amazing,
bhop
yeah.
maps. It's like Jesus. It's
I love being lost in an Ox map.
I think, at least I think those type of maps are kind of give a lot of potential to bhop because linear, just map is kind of, at least for me. But like, if it is gonna be open world, it's just.
The patience Orcs has been putting into his latest map, especially for like the last year or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just impresses me so much because it's like, I cannot wait for that map to be finished.
Wonder
I'm
what
suck
the
at it,
chat's
but-
favorite levels are. Come on.
Yeah.
We got
Gotta
Surf
hear 'em.
Palm B1. We
that.
got Monster Jam, bhop Monster Jam, Classic, bhop Arcane.
Real Arcane is just so good as a map, and it's so playable.
Yeah.
Epic 2 is a really good surf map. Yeah.
Bhop Epiphany, Insanely Sirs, Defrag, according to Crazy. Ahop Reptile or Drift, Surf Hades.
Reptile.
There's a Hades.
I'm learning that
Isn't
I
Hades
only
just
know
horrible
jump
unit
maps.
And then TR Walkway.
Just sitting here like,
Don't fool me.
Surf Z-Big, ZS Zombie. Is that Zombie? Or
I also want to say Surf Great River Extreme, actually.
Mob of the
On the
Dead.
Electric Surf. I'm going to play a lot of that map. Like, actually cannot wait. I am so excited for playing a Great River
Ooh,
Extreme.
Baku.
G-Toss
There we
2.
go.
Baku, yeah.
Nobody mentioned jump
Baku,
beef.
Baku.
Beef getting
I mean, there's
run through the garbage. A lot of vegans in track.
Unbeatable.
Classic.
It's instant classic.
Yeah.
TR walkways. TR walkway is
The Elden
just
Ring of
base.
jump maps.
Yeah.
Elden Ring.
We did have one more question asked really recently by Joker I wanted to
That
touch
was a
on.
really good one, yeah.
So Joker Coon 7, I think, unless that 7 is a T, in which case I'm not saying that out loud. Is there any plans for creating an overall ranking system aside from the leaderboard system on specific maps? So there's actually this kind of ties in with that one asked by Paddy. So there's two avenues for playing Momentum. There's the cosmetic kind of XP side, which is when you play maps, you beat maps, your unique completions of maps, doing a completion of any type, even if it's not PB, getting even bonus XP when you have a PB, stuff like that, as well as challenges, dailies, things like that give XP. And that's just kind of a general, what's your level, right, in Momentum, and it's how much you've played the game. It's just overall, just like you've played it a ton, you've done a lot of like challenges and stuff. And then there's the ranked side, so the specific map leaderboards that give rank XP, or rank points rather. And that is specifically your placement on maps. So that's how good you are at Momentum. If you have a ton of game mode rank XP, or rank points, sorry, I use that interchangeably. Your rank, overall game mode rank points is how good you are at that game mode. So something that we could do, that again could be more of a hidden leaderboard, maybe on the site, or not really like as prominent, because again, we care more about individuals first. We want to care about your runs that you're doing, as well as your friends maybe, just kind of keeping it more friendly that way. Because if you go into a game and you just see the top 10 every single time, you're going to just get really demotivated, because you're not going to get a top 10 time anytime soon, right? Like there could be thousands of submissions on the map. So the main thing is just like, we want to have that leaderboard to see game mode, rank XP, rank points rather, who's the top of each game mode. And then that way you can see, like, yeah, overall, who's doing consistently well across all of the maps. As well as we could have a leaderboard for overall cosmetic XP as well. It would be kind of these like what is it,
Well, that would
like
also
vanity
be, like, high-end,
vanity
like,
leaderboards,
and
vanity
just
boards.
translate the level indicators anyway.
Right, yeah, and we're gonna have prestiges, and like when you do runs anyway, you'll have that on your profile, which we're going to try to represent on the leaderboard more. When you hover over times, you'll see people's levels and stuff like that. So
I'd really like to do some like little events, like the first person to hit like 5 prestige or whatever, firing off something, or that would be really exciting.
Yeah, game-wide events like the wedding ring in TF2, right?
Feel alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When new world records are beaten on the map that you're playing on, we could send out some like kind of not webhook or some I guess like socket like that. Well, depending on how many active players. It could be WebSockets. You can just WebSocket in to the current map that you're on, and then you just get like events that happen on the map.
Or just like a global activity type that like notifies everyone or something.
Yeah, true. It just pushes it out, and then when we pull notifications, which be every 5 to 10 seconds or something, and it could show it. Yeah. So hopefully that helps answer that. Because yes, it is important to kind of show who's the top of both of those fields. It could overlap, right? There could be people that have played and done every challenge and are really, really good at every mode, right? So that's it'll be interesting to see the kind of like the names that show up on both of those. But yeah, absolutely. Vanity boards are kind of what they'll be called. They're not really leaderboards because it's just people that have played a lot. And so on your profile, you'll actually have your overall completion and your overall rank points for that mode can be represented in a sort of like trophy system, to where you have that kind of like in servers it's like pro, expert, like that, the name tag right before your name when you type. So having that kind of level as well of like a badge that you could show off if you want to, that is also something that we're considering. Yeah, and then there's people talking about like being in a lobby with somebody that gets like a PB or something. We could do some effect in there too. So like you get like confetti or whatever, like the chump servers have. So like stuff like that, like we could do. So yeah, it's definitely possible. You still have the multiplayer elements of that, so it'll be fun. It'll be a very fun, very fun like layer to the game past just doing a run. Okay. All right. We don't have any other questions, so I guess we can go and head over to the game.
Conk.
What should we do first? Should we do conk last, or
of course?
And then let me switch over to gameplay plus
I want to show my
webcams.
thing.
We show things off first.
And we show false. That's not false. That's hold on there. And we show.
I'm really working on stuff for now, so.
Yeah, you're all
Still
good.
play on Tempest.
Cool. Alrighty. And then let me go ahead and get rid of the questions because we're done with them. And sorry, that's.
Well, I mean, we've got some really fun stuff to talk about, actually.
Okay.
Very visual, but Rio's thing. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. So this is we're I did the push, and then I didn't update any of the playtesters on what was actually just pushed. Yeah. So we did just push an update that's been kind of in the making for a bit now. There's quite a couple of fixes. We're gonna go through the actual like fixes that we did, and like actually have a proper Discord post after the stream. But one of the key features that I want to talk about is something inside of m_raw input, and I'm just gonna hit this because we have, if you can squint and see, we have a new mode called interpolated samples. This is the work of Rio, and I believe with some input from or was it just Rio? I believe it was mainly Rio. Like Rio basically did this.
Rio's baby.
Yeah, this is so interpolated samples. So just kind of a rough overview. We're actually going to have a blog post going in further detail about this, but hopefully this is pretty exciting for people. Right now, your frame rate in the game, when you are moving your mouse around, kind of affects the gain that you can get when you strafe, because the way that frame rate and tick-based engines work, right, is you have a frame rate that is lower than the tick rate, right? So the amount of samples that you have that's being actually like sampled for the game is not great. And in fact, what happens is the input that you have for your mouse movements and stuff kind of gets skipped and is not like when you're at like 30 FPS, but you're, you know, it's 100 tick and up, right? You don't really get as much gain as you should. And it just in general feels pretty bad. Even though the gameplay could be, you know, it's reasonable, right? It's something that you could, sorry about that. It's something that you could, it's something that you could,
you'll notice it more.
yeah. And so, right, we want to be able to allow anyone at any frame rate to play the game, right, and not be at any disadvantage. There's also talks about how maybe multiples of tick rate, so having like 200 FPS on bhop or something, where having a multiple of the tick rate allows you, in FPS, allows you to have better gains because it's technically more samples. This is also no longer the case with m_raw input 2. So now with m_raw input 2, which will become the default down the line for 1.0, you will have basically independent sampling of the mouse compared to the game tick. So we now sample the mouse basically as fast as we possibly can. I believe, right? I would need to verify that, but the idea is that now at 30 FPS you have the exact gain that you should have, basically, and you can play basically any frame rate of any mode. It's not like optimized just for bhop at 100 tick. It works for surf, it works for rocket jump and sticky jump, and ideally the game overall should feel smoother for input at especially lower frame rates. But the main outcome of this is that frame rate should no longer matter for your mouse inputs. So bunny hop in particular, which is regular left right strafing, should now feel consistent across every frame rate. Now, obviously, you shouldn't be playing at 1 to 2 FPS. That is terrible, right? Like at that point, you're probably not on the right computer for this game. In which case, you know, our minimum spec is, you know, whatever. But will it be better than playing without the setting on 999? It should be the same as playing on 999 FPS now. Like that's the benefit. You can play on whatever FPS you want. It should be the same. Now, obviously, lower FPS might start to cause some problems, especially with run recording and like our heartbeat stuff, which like if your game is like running really fucking poorly, like there's some deeper issues there, and we're going to try to make sure our min spec on our Steam store page reflects an average like computer build that you should have to be able to run the game at like 60 or more FPS to have an enjoyable experience. Because again, it's source. We're not doing anything too crazy. We're not doing RTX or anything like that. So you should still be able to get a shit ton of frames per second, right? Still source, but with this setting that'll become the new default, you'll be able to basically send inputs at like the game. I'm not doing this justice because the technical write-up we want to have a proper blog post for with examples. But yeah, the tests that have been done across both platforms is lowering the FPS max to like 30 and running a bhop map. And there's also more, I guess, empirical data that Rio has started to collect to make beautiful, beautiful graphs of how the input looks before and after this change. Because it was all over the place. It would be, yeah, it'd be like the accuracy of the sampling was just like, it was like basically a bunch of scribbles. It was terrible in terms of like how accurate it was. And now it's like basically just a smooth line as it samples and like going left and right for gain. So be on the lookout for this proper write-up. I did as best as I could. I'm sorry, Rio, that I did not do that proper justice. The blog post will do it absolute proper justice as to what it fully means, but basically change m_raw input to 2 and give us feedback. Does it feel all right at lower FPS as well for you guys?
I just want to say this is just amazing work from Rio. Like this is
absolutely incredible.
It's such a cool project, and like reading mean, I can read the code for it now. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And like in terms, the sort of technical, skill there and getting this done in this way, it's really, really clean.
Yes.
Like, and it's just a really, really nice solution to this issue that, yeah, I'm just so impressed with.
Yes.
People are in my lobby, but they're not. They don't have my map.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got to show this off too. This will be nice.
Let me let the cat out of the room.
So yeah, that is one of the biggest changes that we just pushed. We also have some PBR fixes and some other miscellaneous stuff. I need to look at what exactly changed. We had a very busy post meeting to pre Q&A. So anyway, very fun. But yeah, I am so excited for this because this in particular means that we can now be competitively consistent across multiple frame rates, and you don't have to do some weird config setting FPS max 0 or whatever, right? We've recapped the game to 1000 FPS because realistically you don't need to render that many frames. And now with input being properly interpolated regardless of frame rate, you don't even need that much. It's actually more work that your GPU would be doing for no reason, especially because if you're going over your monitor's refresh rate, right? Like, you really only need your monitor's refresh rate worth of frames. So like 300 is like a reasonable one because it could dip and still be above the average 144 to 120 refresh rate hertz. As we get better and better gaming monitors, we'll see how much we want to bump that. Did you change your name? Wait, does that actually end with mom? That key?
Holy shit, it does!
Holy fuck! Wow. All right. Well, there you go. That is incredible. I thought there was some glitch or something in it. Yeah. Anyway, whoever gets that key, you can join our lobby.
My favorite way of
Public.
doing a keys. Yeah.
300 hertz monitors have been out. So yeah, that we actually bumped FPS max to 400 by default. So you're able to get up to 400 now. And then yeah, I mean we're gonna be doing proper optimization. I think right now we're CPU bound in terms of, or was it GPU bound?
I think we went to GPU bound. Didn't
Yeah,
we?
I think we're now GPU bound
Yeah.
in terms of rendering. So now we just need to start to rewrite our shader API to take advantage of DX11 more to
It's a
then
really
go.
easy job.
Yep, super simple. Takes Slightly a day. Yeah, we'll see. Cool. So that is Rio's work. A ton of other miscellaneous fixes by the dev team as well. Again, I just really wanted to highlight Rio's work there.
This is so cool.
It's very, very awesome. And I can't wait to show it through the blog post because that'll actually properly show exactly what was implemented, exactly the solution used, what it's fixing, what it's like. And then now with it in game, you guys can test it out and see how it feels for you as well. Cool. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I'll let Tom actually take it away, and I'm going to join them on their map.
You join the map. Hopefully it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a little side project of mine. Most of my time recently has been on web stuff, which is really boring. And I found this sort of other little programming project. I'm personally really interested in texture work. I've used to do quite a bit of substance design and stuff in the past. I don't really have
Lots
time
of
for it.
moss.
I've spent quite a while making moss. I've had my moss phase.
How many fucking stages are there? Oh my god.
The problem is you don't have it doesn't limit you to doing every stage. I tried to make you do every single row. But
oh yeah, we'll update that in the future with required zones.
So in terms of the sort of texture situation out there, there's a lot of texture science to do sort of free assets and stuff. With various different licensing, the quality is often really varies between different just different textures. There's not like often that much consistency. Licensing stuff can be quite restrictive. From my experience, by far the best is like called Polyhaven, which I recommended people all the time to mappers and modelers and
The
stuff.
texture looks fucking
Their
great.
assets are just gorgeous. They have super permitted license. They use CC0, which allows like commercial stuff even.
Yeah.
It's just clearly a really nice group of people.
Missing a couple.
Yeah,
Leather.
a few of them are bugged out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've always been super impressed with Polyhaven. I'll just be hopping around these blocks as I go. This is nice for showing PBR, that Rust one there. I've always been super impressed with Polyhaven, and I was showing to someone the other day. I was just suggesting them a site for textures, and realized, like looking at their licensing, that like we could just add all this stuff. Like they're clearly like their attitude towards people using the textures, they seem to just encourage it, and like they seem like they'd be happy for us using like a massive swathe of them.
Yeah.
They even have a public API for their website where you can like get a list of all the assets and like links to files in API response for like every asset, and which made writing a couple of Python programs that just automates this whole process really, really easy. And so this has been last couple of weeks has been my little sort of like project some evenings where I just with this.
Like pure black over here.
I don't know what's going on there.
Huh.
But yeah, this has been just a bunch of scripts that take stuff from Holyhaven, put them in a spreadsheet where we can change various parameters and decide if we want them or not. And then downloads all of them, changes a bunch of texture maps and converts them to VTF, makes VMTs. If you come over here, come to spawn, just restart and come here.
Yeah.
These wood textures here are all the same texture. You see like bark brown 01. I've done 4 of them where there's I did it because it would look weird. There's blue wood. This is completely the same texture file, like absolutely identical. It's just a different material. Because we just do a shoe transform in the pixel shader, which is relatively cheap. I mean, it's not free, but it's for sourceware, like it's pretty okay. And this allowed us. This is something that I actually added to PBR ages ago, and then I think slightly fixed when there was a bug.
Yeah.
But basically it just lets you do variation of textures super easy. This is all from this spreadsheet. We just have a Google sheet that it uses. And I can just add like a bunch of shoe transforms and stuff, and it will then generate the material files for it. And then finally, the really fun thing is I've used PyVMF. Shout out to Garange, which is a Python library for making VMF files, which will then just get compiled, and we get this big, like, monstrous-looking map with every Polyhaven texture. So I've not touched like a single texture individually, right? This is all the conversion of stuff being automated, and then map being automated, and yeah.
I think the cube map on this wood is fucked up.
Some of them, I think it might be the MRAO is broken or something. This is all a little unfinished. I need to do a bunch of cleanup, but this is still, the basic. Well, we probably won't have all of these textures. We might increase the quality of the diffuse.
Yeah.
We don't have some of the compression formats we'd like for textures currently that you can use with DX11.
Yes. BC7, I believe. Do we have 5?
5 and 7 would be... No, we don't have 5 either.
Okay.
BC5
I thought we had 5.
would be really interesting because that lets you really get normal maps a lot smaller in a really efficient way. BC5 is really neat.
It's just these wood ones that have this broken like cube map.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, I think it's some map though. Yeah, these are all the fucked up ones that get fixed. Some of these are great. Like I love denim. I really.
Oh, where is it?
This is my treat for doing this work. Is I'm insisting that we include denim.
Fucking, we can make jeans. Momentum Man will have pants.
Yeah.
Made out of jeans.
But sorry, what I've not said. We're gonna ship this on Steam. So essentially, currently people mount a lot of different games, and that's okay, and people can use TF2, CSS, and CS:GO textures. However, if you are using those in your map, you are sort of potentially limiting some people that don't have those games. CS:GO is quite big, even though it does have by far the best textures. If you're gonna make a new map for Momentum, and you're not gonna use these, I would recommend CS:GOs.
Yeah.
But still, we've really wanted to have some of our own textures. I mean, not made by us, right? But stuff that we can use and doesn't have licensing issues. I mean, this stuff, people can, if they want to pack these textures into their map and backport to CSS, that's completely fine. That's completely within licensing. I mean,
no, these textures are PBR, right?
Well, yeah, they'd have to convert them.
You'd have to convert.
They just wouldn't use the MRAO. That would be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just something that we can have on Steam and encourage mappers to use. It's PBR, and stuff will improve in the future. These will start to look a bit better. These do have parallax currently, but I need to tweak parallax settings quite a lot.
Yeah, it's like a forest floor, dirt. Yeah, forest leaves.
Yeah,
it's insane.
So yeah, and this is currently under 1 gigabyte. All of these textures.
Yep.
I mean, got downloaded from our team storage earlier. Like, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Which we're going to be removing as we remove DX9. That will be removing some really large shader files. So that will actually be decreasing the game size, and then So we'll be adding this. I mean, the game is already pretty small on Steam, so we figured adding a gig for a really large range of textures that mappers can use would be really nice. And again, you know, they can do shoe transforms, change stuff into VMTs. That's completely fine, as long as, you know, the place you're saving on the file size is in the
VTFs,
yeah. So yeah, this has just been a really fun little project for me. I want to give huge shout outs to Polyhaven. I mean, these textures are extremely high quality. I mean, as someone with a decent amount of texture experience as well, like you look at a lot of these and they're just, I think, well, most of these are scans, right? And I normally do procedural stuff, but these are really good scans like this stuff. I mean, they really know what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, Ethan can testify to that as well. I mean, he has a lot of experience as well.
As an artist, mapper,
these
this
are
is
really
really exciting
good.
to just have all of this like really easily accessible.
Yeah.
I've had tried like converted some substance like source materials and stuff, and it's a bit of a pain.
The substance source assets are
honestly.
very good. I mean,
Yeah, but having just like a mass library like this makes
No,
quick
I can't long jump.
nice PBR textures in. Super.
Yeah. There's a lot of these textures.
There we go.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do with these.
Look at that, like the fucking bumps. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in a game that you're like moving really fucking fast and like
Oh, yeah.
never gonna actually like see, like this is how fast like you might be like moving past it, right?
so
Like
why is this sand blue?
blue sand.
This is Parallel making it look really getting a height mapping like that, not just a normal.
We kind of got a related question in chat about textures. Bray answered on it.
I called you better on the. I think we're sticking with
Yeah.
source surface prop sounds are.
I don't know. Like for me personally, the default source sounds for different texture of the ground are kind of bad.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
agree.
I don't know if we're gonna.
They're terrible. They're Half-Life 2s. They're from
We would love to.
2004.
It's just whether or not we have people to do.
Do we have Foley? Do we have Foley artists?
Yeah.
I'd say the plan
Yeah.
B, we're just gonna remix him a bit. Like if I don't know, at least I'd remix it a bit. Just make him less annoying.
Do you want to race to the end of the R's?
All right, hold on. Oh, the R's are like all the way over here. Okay.
Yeah, they're the longest.
Oh god. Okay. And then Kong.
1, go. Yeah, I fell off.
Fuck. I did not. Haha. Just kidding. Yeah. Oh shit. Been a bit since I bunny hopped. We don't really play bunny hop on these streams, so this is a good. People can judge my my posture.
Get rusty up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Is it using? Does it set surface props based on like the?
No, I've not done that yet. That will be
okay.
We could try doing it based on file name, but I doubt we'll get something perfect. So
yeah,
that's just going through a spreadsheet of like 200 things and just typing.
Trying to see if do I have enough speed to skip. I don't think I do.
Where can I become a playtester?
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get back here and lose all my speed. That's fine.
Oh.
Yep. So you can become a playtester for this map in particular. No, by going to our Steam store page and clicking the sign up for playtests button. I lose. Woo!
This is a really nice rust texture. Look at this.
Oh wow! Yeah. This will be good for Mars maps too.
By the way, we've done 10, which is our usual. If you're just waiting for a key,
cool.
Providence retexture.
Look, this is the margarita pizza texture. That's not a good one.
Oh my god! Wait, is this actually cheese?
Well, this is one of the ones we might not include. I'm not actually a fan of this.
Oh, gotcha.
About 90% of them, I think.
Straight up looks like pizza. Yeah, that's funny.
Very much.
So, yeah. We'll probably make some improvements to PVR itself in the future, the actual shader, because I don't think it's perfect. We don't have enough PVR features to really be testing it that much, so this is going to be a really good start there.
Wait, did I just land on some invisible block?
This will be in the game pretty soon, and again, Polyhaven, we love you.
Yes.
We'll put a big credit thing in the made with section eventually. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these textures.
Yeah.
Yeah. We play Conk now.
Yep. to Conk. Away.
Yay. Fulfilling.
All right. What map are we feeling? Do you have any in particular you'd like to see? You were the big spender. I haven't done
I
Fluffy.
don't play Conk.
Okay, I'll do Fluffy. I'll do Fluffy. I think Fluffy was recommended last time. It's tier 2 map.
did it
It's
for the
pretty
meme.
straightforward.
I have a version of Conk Speed where the fail area.
Anything but Conk.
And we go from those textures to these. Oh my god. All right. So yeah, Conk is a mode from Team Fortress Classic where you charge a grenade, and it has a set timer of when it goes off. The mechanics around its explosion are a little inverted in the sense that the closer you are to it, the less of a boost it gives you. So like you can see I got a small one, but if I put one here... Oh wait, I jumped out of its radius, fuck. Okay. Oh no, we got the sticky jumpers on.
Oh great, we've got like the 90 fucking curvature.
Wait, what? Oh, how did that
Like
not...
the-
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. So yeah, you just kind of use conch grenades. Oh fuck, I need to get a bit of a jump there. You just use conch grenades to go throughout the map. Wee. The networking stack, I guess I could also mention, was rewritten to use protobuf, which is a kind of standard binary compression or encryption or not encryption, encoding. That's it. Language or library. My God, my tech babble. I need to improve that for my interviews coming up. Wait, is this a... No, this is a double. Okay, I'm just bad.
Oh, the protobuf stuff is so nice, actually.
Yeah,
Getting
we
that.
no longer have to manually fiddle the encoding at all. Like we were doing a lot of manual encoding for packets, and it was just kind of really annoying. And now it's not, because we just define the packet and then we just parse and send it. I think this is one that you actually don't need. Like you could technically strafe that, but that's fine. Oh, too early.
I really hope there won't be any conch in the campaign because I'm just not finished the campaign.
Well, the way that the campaigns are going to work, I guess I can give a couple more details about it. The campaigns are individual, so each mode, they don't cross over at all, in the sense that you have to do rocket jump in your surf campaign. They're individual for each mode. So, oh, did I do it? Oh, let's go. Why are there tiny little doorways? Okay, so I'm going around. Okay, a little bit backwards. Looks like I'm gonna have to probably double. One to get up, and then one to get over, and then one below me. That's what I'm thinking. Triple then. Oh! Well, actually, now that I think about it, I think I can double with the right timing. Oh, that's too high. Dang it, dang it.
It's a conch base movement. It feels
Oh!
nice.
I have to curve.
Is the protobuf thing in there? This is in...
This is on, yeah, it's currently using it. Yep. I'm throwing it too early. Gotta time it. So conch is all about timing, basically. So
When
you
are more
just have
maps
to-
being added? 010 essentially.
Yep.
So that's when
Yeah.
the zoning refactor is finished. We don't want to currently add new maps because the zones are going to break anyway in 010. We're currently working on 092, so it's really close. But also, right now, the maps are added manually where like Doc uploads it somewhere and it's
Yeah.
really jank. And our current goal,
What?
this is like really...
Why did I
one of
dead
the
stop?
main
That was weird.
things I'm working on is map submission for 010 as well. So we'll actually have web, interfaces where people can
Dang.
submit maps that and review fades and stuff like that. Oh, no.
Oh, that's all I needed to do. Just a handheld.
The conch game mode is from Team Fortress Classic.
I think the movement feels a little weird. I know there was trimping fixes made, but it
Yeah, I was feeling like the movement was slightly different.
feels a little off, but we'll see. Maybe it's just like placebo. Oh, oh, oh my god. I don't even think I needed a conch for that. That was nuts. Is this high enough? It is. Is that high enough? It is. Let's go.
Look, if you want to get chance to playtest, you need to sign up for playtest, and that all
Yep.
daily drops. But wishlist is you need to actually sign up, not just wishlist.
Yeah. Yep. The sign up button is right next to the wish list button, so it's not hard to skip. Oh no, the sticky jumpers. So yeah, I guess I could talk a bit about the networking layer.
Yeah.
This is still a local client. All of the ghosts that you're seeing are actually just networked as we get data. We don't synchronize clients at all. So that means that any of the modes that require synchronization do not work in the game, mainly because it's just a design decision around not wanting to support multiplayer modes, because how the fuck do you make that competitively viable? We're a speedrunning game, right? Oh god, this is a triple. All right.
Yeah, Rip Tricks is basically the downside. The upside is what God can explain.
Yeah, so it's the upside is your game client feels like it's still local, yet you still are able to play on any map you want while still in the lobby, because it's networking over top of the entire experience. Wait, is this the end? Where am I? What? Oh, what? Okay. It's an entire layer on top of the game, which means that you can focus on your gameplay, and it doesn't matter how laggy other people are to you. It doesn't like affect anything that you're doing. It just affects how they like appear.
It feels local, and it is local, right?
No, it is. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so we network your stuff, and you get other player packets, but not insane.
Oh.
Your movement is completely local. I mean, there's just 100% zero ping, absolutely none.
Yeah. Too high.
Dedicated servers modes like Tricks. We'll do something like we'll do a form of dedicated servers, but not with that multiplayer setup.
Yeah.
We've answered this quite a bit in the past. There's actually in our Discord, there's a say command that actually links to a previous Q&A thing. Because we get this a lot. So we have gone over this a lot. With your global world record track. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Let's go.
Unlucky you've been signed up for 3 to 4 months. That's actually pretty standard. We just have a lot of people signed up right now. We'll be increasing numbers for 010.
Yep.
We really want to emphasize that, like, this is just playtest. All the times are being wiped. There's not that many maps, and like stuff is buggy. It's definitely really fun to play, but the thing that matters, right, is 1.0 when like stuff is actually finalized, and this is a game that's like is worth thinking like the thousands of hours into that I probably will. You know, like the.
Yeah.
Until then, it is still in an unfinished state, and if you don't get in, if you get in tomorrow or you get in a month after, 6 months, whatever, like that still doesn't that mean that much in the grand scheme of things. So we will up them. And, yeah, we appreciate you being excited for the game and all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
We don't mean to like be dismissive of people, you know, being really excited to get into playtest. It's just that we've got lots of people, and you know, it's gonna.
I can strafe through this, but I need to. It's almost like I need to bounce and fall into it or something.
Bounce, trampoline.
Fuck.
No.
Playtest.
We're getting Caro Benito to do the sound effect.
Oh my god. That's what we're spending their collective money on.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I wasn't prepping the second. Fuck. Okay. But I do want to go this way. No.
I mean, buying CSS is good because you get the assets. So I mean,
yes,
we've gone into stuff with we did a lot last stream actually. I think talking about asset replacement or you know missing texture stuff, but it's ultimately it's still great to have CSS. So.
Dang.
Gok, I've got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
The closer you to the grenade, the less like impact it's gonna give you. But what if when grenade explodes in your hands?
It's a consistent velocity when it's a handheld. It's the direction you're going times like I think 300, or it's like it's based on the unit vector of your direction, and it's like times 300 or something. It's something like that. It adds a consistent amount. So like if you're going up really quickly, it'll amplify that. And yeah, if you're going like forward, like watch like here, it like I was actually falling down from my jump, so it boosts me downwards more. Also, it seems like the Airxel.
You know,
It seems like the Airxel is a little more harsh now after this update. Like I can't curve as much as I used to. I don't know if that was a change though. Oh, we did it. Let's go.
also, we're kind of like, you know, in the middle of like 09 2 work where like everything's sort of up in the air. Like it with the milestones, we try and aim to get stuff in like pretty orderly. But with stuff like, you know, small changes to conk, stuff like that, movement there, like we're quite happy to have like just random little changes that, you know, and stuff that might break in some ways, but I mean, whatever. Like times are getting wiped and.
What? Oh, I guess I gotta do this. Oh, it's just outside the radius. Unfortunate. Oh no! Why is there a shelf there? God damn it! I thought it was. Forgot how the ceiling was. Damn it! Okay.
Yeah, the cheated times, like, I mean, we just don't care what. Well, I mean, in a way, we're happy to encourage cheated times because if, as long as people are cheating in some way that's like novel, right? If they're just cheating in some way that like everyone knows how to cheat, who cares? We don't. We're pretty much indifferent. If you can find, you know, bugs that allow you to submit a cheated time, and especially if that bug is new, then that's fantastic because that's like giving us stuff to work on and to fix.
Fucking first tried that one. All right. 20 out of 22. Wait, am I just gonna? All right, this is actually a bunny hop map. Hold on.
I mean,
there we go. Oh, okay. Never mind. Need like 420 maybe. Dang it. Okay, whatever. I'll do it normally. I'm a good boy.
Furious right now.
Oh, I don't know how that worked, but I'll take it. Wait, how is this jump 20? Is this it? Oh my god. Okay. Oh, okay.
It's a bit laggier than it used to be. So that might be a protobuf.
It could be. Yeah. Could be related to the protobuf.
Again, that's the kind of thing that, like, if that's an issue, that's completely fine. I mean,
yeah.
But that's something
stuff we iron out.
You know,
oh, that did not give me
doing the protobuf, you know, long term will be absolutely a good thing, even if there's a jank now, because, like, our networking, it's like way saner.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? We've got all this beautiful question today, but there was one question we left and didn't answer to. Somebody asked when we will add Gopnik's biking movement in the game.
The technology just isn't there yet. We need to upgrade our physics engine to support the dual wheel action.
I really like that.
Well,
oh, come on.
It's either that or Paladin's horse movement. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much essential.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good momentum boss status.
Okay, hold on. Why is this like the hardest fucking jump? Oh, I don't know if drop conk is the way to go. You have to throw one. Like you have to charge the second one to go right back up. Unless, can you throw two and then just like god tier timing? Dang.
Why is your game crashing? Well, we can check Sentry later. I can't be bothered right now.
Yep. So if your game is crashing, then make sure that you've opted into the crash submission, and then you do. Fuck! I thought my conk was more charged than that. You do have to successfully quit the game after. So like you'll crash, and then you'll get open it back up to menu, and then exit the game, and then it'll upload to us.
Yeah.
We don't do it at the time of the crash, probably because that model doesn't really work. Because like if you're full screen, right, and it crashes, you have to do that awkward like alt tab and like hope that you can find the crash reporter and stuff. And like even then, it's like rendered as part of the game, which is crashed and doesn't like. No. I've had like Unreal or Unity games do that.
Report, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, don't worry about about that. We'll take a look. Dang.
Some gibberish for me.
I suck. I was hoping to beat this map. Oh, 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 beautiful. And then through the window, up and over. Cool, got it. This is like actually more tier 3. Why is this a tier 1 map? Or tier 2?
Yeah,
this is way too, this is like a tier 3.
Yeah. The resubmitting the conch
shit.
ones will be nice, because some of the conch maps are really broken and
Yep.
give you some work before we... and also the tiers are just aren't.
Yeah.
Oh god, working on map submission is going to be so nice when the rewrite's actually done and we can start implementing the actual new stuff. I cannot wait.
I'm playing
Easy.
like maps that are actually on the selector. I get to see how amazing the end of run thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about we will be adding a few new maps soon. Because should we talk about the
Oh.
season?
Yeah, I was gonna make. Yeah, we wanted to make an announcement, but I guess we can mention it in passing. Yeah, there's a marathon going on held by Wolsk, called the Fan Games Marathon, and Momentum Mod is making a special appearance in that. We got, I believe, a jump and surf segment, as well as a couple other game modes here and there too.
I'll have a bit of A-hop,
Yeah.
defrag, some bhop as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have some people showing that off.
Yeah.
That's coming in July 14th and 15th.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so put it in your diaries on the calendar.
Yeah.
Disres.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm gonna go on top of the conch house really quick.
That's a very
They're really
well
fun
made
to
house.
watch.
Yes.
Is that a brushes or a model? Do you think? Because that house is really detailed.
Yeah, I think it's modeled. I mean, you know, Gold Source had advanced modeling.
Yeah, but wait, it doesn't have any, does it?
Nope. Studio is absolutely. Oh yeah, you have to charge up the conch there. Anyway, we are 20 minutes over. Do we want to show anything else?
I think we're going to be interchangeable between modes. The ranked leaderboards will always have one consistent tick
One
rate. We'll have
consistent
some
road.
alternative leaderboard, tick rate leaderboards, I believe. So surf, like, you know, they've got like 85, 100,
Yeah.
66. 66 will be the ranked for surf, right? And then bhop is whatever. I think bhop's 100 tick rate. We're not doing any more keys. We've done the keys for today.
Yep.
So yeah, the thing we want is, yeah, for I think that would just be 100 tick, I presume, for surf. That's just,
Wait,
it's
if I
only
hold-
1.2.4 because of CS:GO's silly, like 2 to the n to the whatever tick rate.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Quantizing
will
the
always
float.
be one. So I mean, CS:GO surf, you can still surf on like 64 tick, which is and
Yeah.
surf will be doing 66 tick, as in CSS's tick rate. But we'll have alternate tick rate leaderboards. It's just for the ranked one and the one that, you know, people probably going to care about most. We want to have the one that is most played and that maps are designed for. So.
While Pogo is still alive and well. Styles are also coming later as well. The popular styles that are the more competitive ones.
You can see the GitHub project board is a good way if you want to see all this stuff. Though.
Yeah.
I'll look at that real quick.
The fun styles, though, things like that are just really crazy, like low grav or whatever, are probably not going to get leaderboards that do anything other than just like record the time and that's it. Like it. So I mean, we can support those. It's just like
Or replay files to store and like.
Yeah.
And I guess I can kind of finish.
Dang.
Yeah, we support nulls natively.
Guess I kind of finish with. again, I mentioned it in the beginning of the stream, but just again, localization soon, and
Yes.
really hope that's gonna turn out okay, because I probably, again, I mentioned I wanna work in this sphere, I guess, and I'm sure there's a people who wanna, you know, translate games on like official level to like translate some AAA projects in the future. So, and me too. So I wanna kind of do the most, what's the word, quality workflow, I guess, to try to build the quality. Sorry, the quality workflow.
Yeah.
And I hope there's somebody who wanna do that too. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I can't
will.
wait to have new localization people get in touch with us and start working with that lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, just yeah, the nulls are completely fine and allowed in. There's no separate leaderboards for nulls and not nulls. No.
Yeah.
Just, the null discussion has been like sort of had to death for like years and years, and it, like,
Yeah, you just can't. You can't enforce it.
Exactly. So, also for there's questions like this, if you go in the Q&A live channel, you can see that in the pins there. There's like on Discord. There's like a big Google Doc with like every question. So if you like Control F in there for like nulls and stuff, we've definitely gone over that before, because this is like the 15th live Q&A. So like if you want a really long, detailed answer for questions like that, just check it in there.
Oh my god, this is the fucking 15th live Q&A.
Yeah,
What
we've
the
done a
hell?
Yep.
What?
And still many, many more to go.
Oh my god.
I
We
never
just finished the game.
Just get it out.
They
We'll
go
get
up
there
so
eventually.
fast.
We will. Yeah.
I jest.
Okay. Well,
Making games is hard.
I'm hungry. It's 7:30. It's like an
Yeah,
hour
same.
past my dinner. So I need to
Holy
go
shit.
eat.
I went to
There's nobody streaming Momentum Mod. Unfortunate.
It
Unfortunate.
might have to be the others then.
So let's see. We got. We could raid Dream.
Sure.
Azure streaming.
No. There's
Oh,
I think
Muty?
there's somebody
There's Muty. Is Muty?
playing.
I don't
Oh wait, no. They're just okay. They're just in. I think watching. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, Azure is.
Let's raid Azure. I mean,
Yeah, let's raid Azure.
Azure
Okay.
is a friend of this
Azure.
one.
Yeah, Azure is great.
It's Azure or Marine Mammal Rescue.
Oh no.
Marine mammal.
Okay, so wrapping up. Thank you everybody so much for watching, attending. Hopefully you got a key out of this. If not, then make sure that you sign up for the playtest and we give daily drops. Ask us questions in our Discord. Feel free to join it also to hang out with us, because, you know, we're available in there. So if you ever have any burning questions that you don't want to wait every month to see, you can also ask us there too. But
Sure.
thank you so much. See you all in the next stream.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.